We are. What's going on, y'all? Up for y'all here. It's the South qualifiers. Forget about online. GOML line. GOM line. Yeah.
If you couldn't tell, it was the South qualifiers by us starting with y'all.
Yeah.
Like twice in one sentence, then now you know.
Literally cannot even keep it out of the vernacular.
Could not possibly.
Yeah, we're coming to you live here from Texas in my bedroom. I'm Kimona.
I'm Neighbor.
We're your boys next door, and we are going to be bringing you the GOML qualifiers for the South. And we've looked through the bracket, and a couple of people were like, oh, like these are real like offline tournament threats. These are people who like, take their weeklies, even perform well at like, regionals and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then looked at some of the names and I went, oh, some of these people have huge wins on Wi-Fi actually.
Yeah, some people that I might not have recognized otherwise have definitely been stepping it up in this Wi-Fi realm that we currently live in, and definitely, I mean, we're still living it, we're playing in it right now. You got to be watching out either way. Either side of the threat spectrum.
Yeah, because they're obviously the people you've heard of, whether it's you've heard of them through the online space or whether you've heard of them through the offline space. Like I looked through the bracket and I saw that there's, for example, I see Crump in front of me. I see Marcel. Both of these guys are, they're threats. They're guys who really take like a lot of weeklies in their regions,
Definitely.
And then I looked through and I went, okay, some of these top seeds in these pools, I haven't heard of them. I hadn't heard of Hisoka 96 yet, right? But a lot of y'all people online probably have, because Hisoka 96 has some crazy wins and has won some big online tournaments.
Made some runs.
Yeah.
Literally, I think only losing to names that I would have expected as offline threats, like at majors.
I've seen like losses to DeBuzz with like games on.
Yeah.
And like had to win on Goblin, I saw in one case. Like, yeah, there's some definite online threats and offline threats, both in the South qualifier. Even a couple of our boys, on the commentary side of things. I saw Censored. I saw potentially Rod or somebody cosplaying as Rod in the bracket.
They put out his full government and said, I'm going to be Rod today.
I'm going to be Rod. I'm going to make sure everybody knows it. And I'm like, is that out of character?
I want to see some big Link. I want to see some Samus out of them. In reverse order. Censored plays
right,
the Samus,
yeah, not respectively.
Rod playing the big Link. And I also saw some of our Oklahomies. I saw Ben, /Ben, who's a real lab monster.
Yeah, /Ben, the god.
Yeah, I would be shocked if Cannon Red wasn't also involved. Or I don't know if Cannon Red does online stuff or not, but
I don't know about that either. I would love to see Cannon Red, because honestly, like that's
a duo,
possibly the best Puff I've ever seen. Play in like offline bracket.
Yeah,
I know that there are a few contenders for that, but especially Cannon Red. Like literally, it was at either Ultimatum 2 or Low Tier City 7. He made some runs and Hungry Box was there, and he was like, "This Puff is a threat."
I think it was Ultimatum 2. Think.
Right, because he made top 8 at Ultimate.
Yeah, he did really well. And
Cannon Red's a god, dude.
Of course, other local Texas threats that I like to keep our eye on out. You said Marcel. Definitely somebody who's amazing. Pichu is a volatile as heck character in any format, but add Wi-Fi and it gets like doubly volatile, I feel like.
Because you can either hit your lightning loops or you cannot, basically. Like those are your options. Because there's a lot of like throwing out moves and seeing if they'll connect on Wi-Fi, right? You go for a lot of reads, and with Pichu you have to be a little bit careful with how you manage that, because you don't want to just immediately put yourself into kill percent. Not that 0 isn't a kill percent for Pichu.
Right. Character dependent, sometimes in matchups it takes 10. Sometimes.
Yeah.
Pichu still also use spawn at kill percent too. It goes both ways. Pichu's just a monster of a character. Very fun to watch character, in my opinion. I think a lot of these characters are actually super fun to watch, whether they're online or offline. Whether there's like a ton of archetypes. Like Terry, I think, is a character that is really fun for me to watch,
but not to play against.
If I have to fight him, I'm stressed 100% of the time. Like I have to beat you into your win condition, and then I'm sweating.
Yeah, and then you go, okay, so now they've gotten better while I'm trying to beat them.
Yeah.
Oh goodness gracious. We mentioned Hisoka 96, gonna be a Terry player that we'll see, and potentially one of the favorites to come out on top here in the qualifier as well. So that'll be interesting to see. You were talking about some local talent as well. I looked through, I saw Tam is in there. Tam has gotten some results in the Fort Worth area of the DFW Metroplex, sort of a threat over there. And also one that we should mention, sort of a fan favorite since Low Tier City 7, Shattuck.
Yes.
The young Corrin main.
Especially with the big rise that Corrin's had recently, Cosmos picking her back up, so maybe Shattuck on the rise with that as well. In the same vein, you talked a bit about Tam. We didn't talk about the character. It's going to be Cloud, not the only Cloud we're going to see from Texas in the bracket, though, because we've also got Crump, who's an amazing, I believe, Austinite, who's going to be putting in the work. Or is Crump? Yeah.
Crump is either from Austin or Houston. It doesn't matter because I think Crump was the one who eliminated me at Congo Saga and I've talked about this before, but I got double eliminated by Texans at Congo Saga. And I was like, bro, like
that's so messed up.
Like, at least it was two people that I hadn't played before, right? I was like, okay, like, you know, I might end up playing Trella, and that's like, okay, I get it. And then I played against, I think it was Crump in the losers bracket, and I was like,
sometimes it really be like that.
Yeah.
That is unfortunate. But Texas is big enough that it literally, you could have said like Oklahoma or Nebraska, and it would have been the same feeling of, that's my homie that you made me play out of state.
It's literally about like half, like from where I live here in like the north of North Texas. It's literally half the time and distance to drive up to an Oklahoma local as it is to drive down to a Houston local.
For real.
The South gets large in some places, and the worst part about it is that when you drive to go somewhere, there's nothing.
Yeah.
Because I've driven down the East Coast. I've gone from New York down to Pittsburgh, and that whole way you're like, oh, there's some mountains, and sometimes you like see the ocean or whatever, and you're driving along, and you're like, oh, that's really cool. And then in Texas, you're like, oh my God, there's a windmill.
Look. The wall is a little bit larger on the left side of the road this time.
Do you see that? There's a building. I haven't seen one of those in 35 minutes.
Sometimes there are cows. That's pretty cool.
So, you know, we're gonna get into the matches here pretty soon, but we do also want to take a look at some of the regional bosses. You know, right? So I think that it'll be important to kind of know what's coming up. If you go to smash.gg/GOML Open, you can see some of the people here who are sort of the more well-known Southerners, the ones who I believe are already qualified. So obviously, if you've kept up with the national scene, you would have heard of people like Isman, right? Did very well at, I believe, Pound that one time. Grayson, of course, had a crazy run at Frostbite, got deep. I think he got top 16, if I'm not mistaken. Zai is one of the best players from Louisiana. Damby's #1 in Arkansas. Zurge is, with the departure of NVD and ESAM, I believe the #1 in Oklahoma now. Yeah. Giddy is from San Antonio, I believe. Croy player. Very, very good. And the only two I don't know here are the Game & Watch and the Wolf, AZ and Ataraxia. Do you know them?
Not personally.
Yeah. So those are two people that I look at and I go, okay, these guys have they're either just like from a state like, I don't know, like Nebraska or something in that area where I'm like, oh, I wouldn't know about that region. I've never
not
been
Texas,
there.
But Texas is so big it's already taken up so much of the space.
It's so much of it. I know, dude. It's like,
we're comfortable with Oklahoma, Louisiana, you know.
Yeah, no, definitely like Louisiana, Arkansas, Oklahoma. They come back around a lot. So, you know, we'll be looking out to see who that qualifier is going to be today through the brackets that we see joining that echelon of people, and probably why some of the names you're more accustomed to seeing might not be in this bracket, because you're getting the ones who missed out on that, and you're going to get some of the best hidden talent that you can possibly hope for.
Right. One of the big ones, like extreme hidden talent that I'm looking out for, is actually Zale, one of the best Pokemon trainer players, like in my opinion, bar none. This guy, especially like out the gate for Ultimate, was putting on amazing results. It was big contention early on in Texas who was the best Pokemon trainer, because we had a couple in rotation, and I think Zale definitely made the name for himself. But then it's kind of like, I haven't seen a lot of him recently. There's like a little gap in him playing, as far as I'm aware. At least a gap of my knowledge of him playing. And seeing him here just kind of like sliding under could easily have been good enough to be among the other names that are up there, I think. And we're going to see him make that name throughout the bracket.
Yeah. So hopefully we'll get to see some of him in here as well. But first of all, let's start off by seeing Cultist versus Fig. And to be honest, I wouldn't know who's playing who, because as far as
player who has been dissatisfied with what he believes to be the gimmick of the ice. He's playing, I think, still Fox, but mostly Wolf. But right now we're watching Terry. It's gonna be an experience.
It's gonna be a slugfest for sure.
Yeah. The matchup in particular, I feel like Ness actually does really well at dealing with putting Terry in a disadvantage and just running with it.
Good DI there by Fig, though, to stay alive. Like, that's one of the things you were talking about, right? Is that you have to beat Terry into his win condition, and no DI there on the power dunk means
trying to take center stages. Cultist there trying to stay a little bit more lively at his 118. Just maybe get off one of these special go moves so he gets some big damage. Back throw barely not going to kill. And Terry kind of struggles to recover against Ness sometimes with his A. He's got that PK flash he can throw out. B, that PK Thunder is terrifying. And the fact that he never snaps the ledge, if you don't get invincibility, so that down smash, the yo-yo is just going to eat you alive.
Yeah, you'd be remiss if you were talking about Ness's edge guarding and did not bring up the yo-yo, because it's one of his most powerful tools, and because of the parry, it's very important there that Cultist did not cross him up, and that's why Fig tried to forward tilt the other way and whiffed.
Yeah. But to be fair to him, I think that he would have not had the frames to actually punish if he didn't parry it, because that is an intense shield pressure situation. The forward tilt into the side B does so much pressure on the shield, and honestly, it's really hard to punish most of the time.
Well, we'll see. I mean, Ness also has a whole lot of shield pressure that is very difficult to punish. I think that's one of the things that defines both of these characters very deeply, is that once they get close back on the offensive. Good DI there by Fig, though, not getting hit by that rising tackle.
Yeah, just out of range. That the tippy toes hit him, knocked him into it. Oh, geez.
Yeah, don't put yourself into free fall against the Ness, man. That's just asking for a bat to come to your face.
Definitely a bat, or even many of his aerials can set up for more chains, like falling up air just leads into a grab, or up tilt launchers him back into the air. It's not an easy time. Falling forward air just into the forward tilt, gets it back off stage, and ooh, he barely made it back. Great
distance.
Great job holding on to that distance.
Barely within that power geyser too. Good stuff by Fig, though, to stay alive here. You gotta hope that, he can get out of that corner, right? Because if Terry's keeping you in a corner, there's really no recourse for you to get out of there unless the Terry makes a mistake. But right there, that Nair catching Cultist on a bit of a committal jump. And that's one of the things that is big about Terry and most of the Shotos, right? Is that once they go into the air, that's kind of your time to strike, because it's such a big commitment for them.
Oh yeah, they have very, very telegraphed air drift that they can't really mix up super well, if at all. And but on the ground, that's where they shine. Going in with those big normals, finds that down tilt, was able to convert. This time, no DI was going to escape that up special. That rising tackle.
Obviously, Fig on these tech chases, though, done a really good job of reading Cultist movement, particularly a lot of movement away, right? Trying to not be anywhere near the Ness, and then getting the follow-up for another PK fire if he's on the ground, or catching him just drifting away rather than trying to fight back or going upwards. But now, again, Fig has got to respect the go mode. And with that on in the corner, you look out for the power geyser, and he's gone! Oh my goodness!
He got the down tilt into that hard up tilt, barely caught him on the very edge of that power geyser, and I got it. That had to be DI the wrong way, because the power geyser was, just hitting him on the tip on the very other side. Flew straight off the top. Straight off the top.
And we saw that there was some good DI from Fig in that game too, right?
And the fact that he was DIing that way, I think, was still great, because he almost didn't get hit by that power geyser. DIing the up tilt that far behind Terry almost didn't connect at all. But it did, and that's the most important part, is connecting at that point. You just get blown up.
Yeah, and again, being that high up when you get hit by the power geyser means that a PS2 doesn't have the highest ceilings, right? It's not Battlefield, and that's why you can expect to see an S who is a light character. And the other thing that you have to remember about go mode is that not only are these attacks very powerful, you also have rage behind them.
Yeah,
right. They're already going to have an internal power boost over what they would normally be.
You can never have it without rage.
Yeah.
so those moves definitely got to pack a bit of a punch. Terry, we were talking about it earlier. He's a terrifying character. Even if you think you're doing well, you're literally beating him into his win condition. So you have to play really carefully around that. That's one of the reasons I think Ness is a better character against him, because sometimes you can avoid that. You can get these early low percent gimps or really pressure in offstage situations. But, I mean, we saw how well Cultist was recovering, going super deep on that almost last stock there. Just the tippy toes touching and getting a hold of that ledge with a rising tackle. Just good utilization of your resources and mixing up how you're going to recover makes it a lot harder for the Nest to cover everything.
Okay, so I was confused. I was like, I don't think that Cultist would play either of these characters, and it turns out it's not.
Oh.
This is actually Special versus DTAS.
Okay.
So 2 players that I have not heard of, and that makes a little bit more sense, right? Because again, knowing Cultist as well as I do, the guy lives 10 minutes away from me.
Yeah.
I was like, I just, something feels off to me, but also I haven't talked to him in like a month and a half.
Yeah.
So maybe he has picked up a Terry, and it would make sense. I would not be surprised.
In this day and age, I feel like Cultist is like the kind of person to say, you know what, it's a Wi-Fi tournament, I'm gonna pick Terry.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick Terry.
It could happen.
He's the kind of guy that knows firsthand what Shotos can do to you online, because boy does Texas have quite a few of them.
Oh yeah.
But regardless, Cultist and Fig are not the ones we were watching. Like I said, it is Special and DTAS. So that is DTAS, of course, as you saw in the tags, playing the Terry. Special the one on the Ness, and let's see Special make the comeback here. Town and City is the venue of choice, and I honestly am amazed that that gets left open for Ness, considering that now you can potentially kill the Terry with a back throw before he gets go mode, because you're on Town and City.
Yeah, that's true. This is definitely a solid stage for Ness. Now, it could be horrifying to get hit with a Buster Wolf at the edge of the stage, or even just the side special natural is going to do some damage, right? But yeah, I do agree. I feel like Ness gets a lot more out of this being up to the edge guards going on, but we do see go mode active. No, that Power Geyser is a horrifying thing to get hit by, but if you block it, it is actually not very effective. It's not very safe. It's super nice.
Oh my goodness. The okay, I have to say, despite the fact that we're on Town and City, right, everybody's thinking about the horizontal game, right? DTAS's anti-airs have been so good this like entire set. Game 1 they were on point. Game 2 it doesn't look like it's changed that much. I am amazed how much distance he's getting out of these recoveries.
Right, even going a little bit lower with that power dunk to avoid the PK Thunder, still mixing it up really, really well, but does eventually get anti-aired in his own right by Special. Catching with that up air, so wide. Nice disjoint, you know.
Auto correct helped him out there, man. No thinking required. Press the button. Terry's got you, bro.
Yeah, that jab power dunk is a nice classic 25% B&B that just, it always works. It'll always get the job done.
Like, he actually got behind him with that roll. And that got me like, okay, like, he wouldn't have gone that far. Ness would have gotten jammed. Fastball inside, right? But that time, it's right down the middle. Belt high. Oh, again!
Caught him on the lag!
He batted in his own run!
That's insane.
So what? That's huge for Special, right? To get a stock rolling that quickly. And again, take care of the Terry. Take care of DTAS before go mode even becomes a problem. And it's all because of, like I was mentioning in that first set, the tech chases.
You know, now he has moment to himself here to actually, if he wants to, doesn't have to go that crazy, just take the early damage and play by the edge so he can try to force another situation like that where he can take the early stop. Not worry about go mode. Sick option coverage there, covering the tech in, still putting on nice amount of damage.
I mean, not only was the down smash so good because it worked as a tech chase, right? It had such good coverage. It also set up for another one, and that shows you that Special knows, he's realized at this point what his win condition is here against the Terry. And he goes, okay, if I'm continually getting my stocks and my damage on the tech chases, I just got to set up for that. But off stage, you got to hit those recoveries, man.
Yeah, for a moment, I thought this was the expert there, the way that he hit that last air dodge, max just avoiding the down smash, but...
Other direction, that's going to be bad for DTAS. Without a double jump, going to be the end of the stock. I think that even if he had the full rising tackle, wouldn't have done him any good right there. So Special walks away with a clean victory in that game. Kind of, you know, after he lost that first stock, just took control, found out, a couple of weaknesses in DTaz's game, and I think particularly in that the offense wasn't really all that calculated. It was very powerful offense, don't get me wrong. Certainly won DTaz game 1, but I think that it was less focused on how to pick apart the defense from the nest rather than trying to avoid the offense and then apply your own.
A lot of it was just simple B&B and option coverage kind of stuff that naturally, I know this works, and then no big adaptation to take from that, saying, okay, I can forward tilt, and then I can go for the side special cover. Anything after that, it's really hard to punish that. But you haven't reacted to what special's doing after that, and finding more coverage after that. So that's the hard part. Is I've conditioned you, and I've shown you this is what I can do to apply pressure, but you haven't really found the next step to say, okay, this is how you get out of it. Now let me punish that.
That's what I think that Special did a good job of in that game, was sort of playing the process, right? And figuring out, okay, I've completed one step, I'm not going to get stuck on that. I'm going to move on to the next step now to up the game, and that is why this game is 1-1. So we're on FD for game 3. Again, going to be great for DTaz considering how good his anti-airs have been, and, again, in particular, just if Terry can't get platform camps, then it's helpful.
Oh yeah. He doesn't have a lot of great buttons to really cover the opponent floating in the air. Now, floating nest probably isn't going to platform camp, but not having the option to call is great. Because nest does. Now we're already seeing GOML again trying to get the bounce back to cover early, but still living off that out there. If he's able to make it back to the stage, this could be huge. That's a big hit. This is still hard to get through.
Oh no! That was I'm going to tell you right now, that was a hanging curveball for Special right there, right? Because normally we've seen him like, okay, he's hit a couple of really whack, not really whack, but forward smashes where you wouldn't normally expect them to come out, but that right there was just a free, I'm sitting right here, come and hit me, and then he got that first stock, and again, we've seen that DTaz is kind of struggling, trying to pick apart the defense from Special, and that's what he's going to be able to play. He's got a rather big lead at this point.
Not hitting for him, he's just kind of going for the dump down tilt and then hoping that one of them will right. And of course, hit confirming on Wi-Fi. But that's some of the strength and some of the weaknesses of Terry, all in one right there with Wi-Fi.
And that right there, I think, was a little bit of a misplay. Not too bad for Ness, but I think that DTaz has just mostly shown him that he's not going to bobble around off stage. He's generally going to go directly back and try and get on the ledge or try and get back on, and their Special just kind of gave him an avenue to get back on and take control of the stage. So even though DTaz has the go mode right now, he's still got a lot of fighting back to do. 130, back throw from anywhere is going to take the stock.
Oh yeah. And now the fire's going to be that much easier. He's just jumping right around, staying jumping range, and finally gets the punish off of that parry. He's parried so many of them in these setups that finally finds like a clean punish, gets the grab. Back row, that's gonna do it. Now he's got a smart. Charging the forward smash there. Right around the up smash though, DTaz still has some level of life on this.
Yeah, no, again, Terry has the comeback factor, not just in the go, but just in general. Again, you see the parry from Special, and this is what I like seeing about Special's defense, right? When he's playing with the lead, is that I've just seen a lot of, okay, I'm not really going to swing until I have, sort of a guaranteed place to hit. I'm not going to go until it's safe. And against Terry, that's the way you got to play it right there.
That's what you got to do.
Yeah, you're talking about the edge guarding that Ness has got, and that was it in full effect.
Don't ever let him use that go mode. If you give it to him, just take it right back away, drop that stock. And I love the parry on the most recent parry on that side Special, especially because after the down tilt and the forward tilt pressure on the shield, I think if he didn't parry it, it was either going to guaranteed poke or just pop the shield. And even though it was at 0, I don't think he would have died. That would have put a lot of momentum swinging back into DTaz's favor. Maybe he could have made that comeback. But the parry, that's a momentum stopper immediate. I'm going to put you back in disadvantage and then just cleanly take the game.
Yeah. And that's one of those things that I feel like you've got to, recognize as DTaz in that situation, right? As you were talking about it, the parries have continually come out from Special in that situation, and especially on the side special, right?
Yeah.
On the Burning Knuckle. And at that point, you have to go, okay, if I try and do this Burning Knuckle, he's probably going to parry it, so maybe I mix in a Power Dunk, right?
Yeah.
And
Or
if
maybe-
you Power Dunk, it's multi-hit, parry probably doesn't work.
Exactly. Or even just alter your timing a little bit, right? Delay it, because if they're dropping shield to parry, and you have to delay your Burning Knuckle, they've let go of shield at that point. You're just going to hit him in the face for attempting this, right? So put a little bit of delay on it. Add a little bit of schmicks.
Put a little hot sauce on that bad boy.
Exactly. Now, some of it is a little bit harder because you're canceling the hit of the forward tilt into the Burning Knuckle. But you can just work with that pressure that you've got. If they're going to try to drop shield and parry and do something, you can just stop, see what they're trying to do out of that parry, and then you have more mix game. Like, does he try to jump in air, or does he try forward air? What is he trying to do? Does he sit there and wait? And if he sits there and wait and gives you more time to take another turn, congratulations, you've stolen a turn. You've reset your pressure.
Right.
You
And
know?
the only aggression that you have to be afraid of, I mean, it's the situational recognition there too, right? Where I know we're spending a lot of time on that particular situation, but if you want to pick apart shield pressure in general, you have a major advantage being behind the Ness, who is, to be fair, one of the best characters out of shield from behind because that back air is so potent. But if you stop the shield pressure and then you put up your shield of your own, you can see if maybe he's going to try and turn around and throw out a forward air, right? Maybe he's going to jump away, and at that point, the Ness is above you, you're the Terry, and you're in control.
Oh, yeah. Just catching. I mean, Ness has great aerials to land, but if you wait for him to land, you come back down, jab, power dunk, come in with the down tilts, just come in with a Burning Knuckle. You know, catch him on the way down.
Yeah.
Terry's got the options.
I mean, that's the thing about Terry is that, you know, you really do have to pick apart and think through a lot of your shield pressure, because that is a big part of his game. As one of the Shotos, as one of the, you know, characters that's coming from a traditional fighting game, a lot of those games are on the block pressure when you go on the offense, and you have to sort of try and transition that into Smash a little bit and say, okay, my opponent is on a timer with this block, right? Because if they let their shield break, obviously that's dead.
done.
We're in Smash. We're not in Street Fighter. We're not in King of Fighters or anything like that. So you have to put in a lot of thought process into, okay, how is my opponent acting out of shield? How can I mix up my shield pressure to give myself the advantage in that situation instead of giving them the same play over and over and letting them parry it?
Exactly. But I mean, also, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Good job on special to recognize he's still going for these Burning Knuckles. Let me get these free parries.
Yeah.
Free percent every time.
So, you know, the Ness moving on. I'm actually curious to see what pool that was in, because that could be setting up for that could be setting up for a match against somebody that, you know, we would be a lot more familiar with. And in fact, that was just a shot in the dark, but it is. Special's moving on to play against /Ben. We talked about the overtly technical Shulk from Oklahoma.
Yes. Not only is he phenomenal behind the sticks, but also, if you check him out on Twitter, I don't know what his Twitter is, @Ben. It's probably not that.
Yeah, it's something.
Yeah, I'm sure that you'll find it without much trouble, to be honest. Ben is he's a technical fiend. He's put in a lot of work on the labbing side for Shulk mains, and also a lot of other characters during the quarantine seasons. He has just been messing around with labbing on the new training mode mods and showing off a lot of cool stuff. He was doing some labbing for Jigglypuff, for Canon Red, I presume.
Yeah, one of his besties up there for sure.
Yeah. But also pretty good photographer. He's posted some nice camera work.
Fantastic photographer. Yeah, that is his trade outside of Smash, but hopefully we'll see him later. What we're going to see right now is a match between one of the top seeds in a pool up against the round 2. We've got Yosefu coming up, the Belmont main, going up against Poogie, who I looked up, I believe is a Wolf main. So this could be, honestly, as good as I know that Yosefu is, this could go either way, because I know that Wolf has a very good matchup against the Belmonts.
Wolf is definitely one of the best equipped to deal with zoners in general, I feel like, in this game. But in particular, I feel like his ranges and his airspeed is pretty good to deal with Belmonts. Now, not having a good ground speed can hurt him a little bit in the matchup. Sometimes you get stuck on the forward tilts at certain ranges. But having a transcendent projectile that you can use if you time properly to just like beat stuff like the cross, if you're able to time it to hit the bayonet as well as shoot out the laser, or having a reflector, like
yeah, especially the reflector. Like obviously, I think at this point it's kind of a mean to reflect the Belmont axes because it's like, what good is that going to do, right?
Right.
But you know, if you can deal a lot less with the holy water and almost not at all with the cross, that is such a game changer because Belmonts are a lot about locking you down with the projectiles and making sure that, like, okay, this is going to force you into fewer and fewer options as I get more and more of these projectiles out there, and now I can get a pretty good guess as to what you're going to do, and I can just set myself up to react to those things. It's one of the reasons that I think that I've looked at some of the players that Yosifu has done well against on Wi-Fi. He won a tournament, Hughes tournament, actually over You're Too Slow, the Sonic, 3-1 and then 3-0 in both sets that he played, and I think that sort of speaks to, you know, Sonic is a character that can get locked down if there are a lot of projectiles on screen because you can't just spin dash all over the place. And on top of that, also has a 2-0 over Sonics in a tournament just before that as well. And I've looked through like tons of really close sets against some of the best. Took a game off of Tweak, didn't quite get the win. Same story against Bestness at a different tournament. You know, I feel like Yosifu is definitely going to be one of the favorites to actually qualify here. So we'll see what he can do in a difficult matchup here against Boogie. You know, 2 out of 3 set here to get into, I believe this is round 3.
We're getting farther. and farther. I'm seeing like that mid-range that is exactly what I'm talking about. When you're in range of that Belmont whip, you're actually in a pretty bad spot. It's either just outside of that range or far enough in that it's not really an option on Belmont.
I mean, and already you can see, right, that Yosifu is using those projectiles, not to say, okay, Poogie can only use these moves, right, but to keep him either at a range where he doesn't have to worry about interactions, or to where he is right in that mid-range, like we're talking about. But I think that Poogie has already quickly caught on, okay, as long as I can get close, it's going to be just a guessing game for this.
Right, disadvantage is pretty difficult for the Belmonts, especially in a matchup with Wolf. He just constantly puts you in situations where even if he's not doing true combos, he's setting up mix-ups off of his hits. Fucking really low with that up smash, he's going to avoid them. Now, anybody can't land the now I think, ooh, wow. I really expected Poogie to back off a little bit, put on some pressure and force the Belmont to come in.
I think a part of that is that Poogie just got a little bit timid, right? Didn't want to commit to the approach, so he stopped short and ended up right in that range at the tip of the whip. And so Yosifu was able to take the lead, and now, you know, you can see with that back air, it's gotten a lot more even, but that was a big chance with Yosifu having him off stage, sitting under the platform, especially on Smashville. That's a place where it's going to be really hard to eject the Belmont from in the first place.
Now, we're shooting all the way to the other side. Taking a moment, just a moment, in these other matchups, even on a small stage like Smashville, to say, all right, I'm going to the other side, I'm going to rethink my approach before I do something stupid. I love it. I think in almost any matchup, I think it's good to kind of concede some space as long as you can guarantee a safe landing and give yourself a little bit of area to move, right? It's a little bit different when you got a Belmont trapping you so deep into a corner, right? And he can do it from the center stage on Smashville. But yeah, you're talking about, okay, if he's a little bit close to the ledge, then go ahead and give him some space and give yourself some room. There we go. Doing a good job again of punishing these little mix-ups and disadvantage. He's only getting a little bit off of it. Now we're reaching like the middle higher percents where, especially with Rage, Wolf doesn't get quite as much of a vortex, so now he's going to have to work a little bit harder for it. But I mean, we're in prime like fair back air range, like towards the edge of the stage, could easily bring him back around to the Wolf. So stage control's going to be huge at this juncture.
160 on a Wolf. You better believe that getting off this ledge is going to be hard. That is going to be a big setup for a kill indeed, because right there, you would think that, okay, if the Belmont player is, you know, a little gung-ho, they might try and forward smash me there on the rebound and then roll on stage and it'll get easy. But right there, Yosifu stayed patient. It's what we've seen a lot of, too, is that I think that Yosifu has had some situations, oh my god,
Yosifu's a man who plays with guts, and I love to see it. Who needs just the simple sit back and zone gameplay when I've got a wolf under me that I can put my boot on? Come to Papa.
And Poogie just cannot find a landing right now. The tempo that Yosifu is using these projectiles at is just making it so difficult for Poogie to get back on stage. But now, with the ledge guard setup, he actually gets caught off guard by the get-up attack, something he didn't realize he was in range of, and that was a move that I would do.
Yeah, man after your own heart.
Big shout-outs to Poogie for that one. The up B into the fire, and if he had the fire does not launch you the way that you might expect it would, like an arc fire, right?
Yeah.
And so without that air dodge, that actually would have been huge brain to make it back safely.
Still would have had to struggle through an entire other stock if he was able to take the first one, both sitting at very high percents, but I mean, he had heart. He definitely had heart.
That was an idea that I look at and go, okay, this man's thinking.
Yeah, he's thinking.
I can see that this man has got a brain and it is working.
Oh yeah, it's all coming together.
Oh yeah, it's all coming together.
Yeah. I really love. I mean, that first two stocks that were played really even, but you could see in the matchup, both characters had the opportunity to vortex and really press that advantage. And I think the momentum speaks a lot to how the matchup is going to go. Yosifu, after the second stock, really just took that momentum and did not let it go.
Well, and I think what's so big for Yosifu here, too, is that he was spending a lot of that early game in game one not committing big to punishes, right? He was spending a lot of time saying, all right, I'm going to fake apply the pressure as if I'm going to go for, this forward air or this down air off stage, right? And see how my opponent reacts. But he gathers the data without putting himself at risk. He sees how they're going to react, and now he can take that into game two, and he can consider, okay, now if I want to get more aggressive, I know where I can, and I know where I need to back off.
And I think the biggest thing that I saw that was snowballing some of that towards Yosifu's favor was all of the forward tilts that Poogie was running into. Like, it was... There was a couple of times where it was like the retreating aerial, but most of the time I saw it was that forward tilt where the range just, they weren't 100% comfortable with. Poogie would get hit by one after another and just feel, you could look at it and I would feel mad. I'm watching that, I'm like, man, that's
I don't want to be at that range.
Yeah, well, I don't want anyone to be there, please.
Yeah.
So if Poogie just takes a step to maybe a bigger bite than the wolf, comes through with a croc, maybe that's what he needs. Some armor through it.
His D&D challenge rating just went up by one quarter. He's gotten objectively more dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure he's got a swim speed too. He didn't have that as a wolf.
Not that you're gonna need it here. We're still on Smashville. There is a river, but unless you're already getting KO'd, you're not gonna need to utilize it. I think what he's looking for is the ability to just absolutely power through projectiles and say, all right, I don't care if you're throwing, across. I don't care if you're hitting me with a whip. I can just nair and get through it, and I don't gotta worry.
Oh my gosh, yeah, he doesn't care about it at all. You see how much pressure he took under the guys have been throwing.
Yo, hold on, that nair off stage, he actually body blocks him too with that massive game roll body.
Alright, and now it's still sitting at a crazy high percent. As K-Roll, this is definitely still that percent. Forward tilt is going to come through clean. That's a classic Belmont setup. You got that fire, the holy one on the edge.
It almost doesn't matter how fat you are. If you're at the ledge and you're getting holy water, you can pretty much say goodbye to your stock. Although, that is exactly what I was talking about, right? He says, all right, in this situation, I'd be SOL as Wolf, but right now, I can just armor through that. I do not care about your character.
Right, and at that range, someone just really good. They just sit there passively and block it. They don't have a lot to punish that forward tilt. Maybe figure out a shield angle down. But it's
oh, Nairs again! Wow, and that's great adaptation there by Yosifu, right? To sit there and say, okay, last time I got naired, I got caught out of my double jump, so this time I'm just going to drift towards the stage first, and then if he nairs, I'll have the room to come back. But he is still the one that needs to make the comeback. He's able to mash out, right?
Mash just barely in time to get away from the up smash. And good drift on it as well to avoid.
Oh, just the full armor. He does not care about anything.
The armor is absolutely what he wanted going into this matchup, and I guess
he lives.
He lives through the fire and the flames.
He is large. Not this time.
No, not this time.
Not at all.
Yosifu will kill him. Now he's sitting 123. We can see definitely. I love the little mini hunter to try to hop around projectile pressure, but it's still putting a lot of lag. Still moving those two.
Yeah, and right there he saw. It's really funny that the holy water started shield poking him because he was standing in it for so long.
Right.
And you can see Yosifu start to get the handle of, okay, as long as I'm not close to him, and as long as I continue get execute projectile pressure. Yeah. Oh, he's got the holy water too.
Holy water in hand off of the back air. This could be an opportunity if he catches the right thing to hit him on shield. Oh, that's not what you want to see though. That big axe coming through, almost rebounding off the cross with another one.
Oh my goodness! And the whip to take him out, man. That man was not thirsty. He was not letting go of that water.
No, it turns out even adding the swim speed is not what he needed to get out of Pool's winner's side. He might still.
Tell me how long you were holding on to that one for.
A very long time. But you know, he still might be able to swim his way through that loser's bracket. There's still more opportunity to see Poogie play. I really did like the adaptations. Even go to a character like K-Rool, which I'm not a K-Rool expert here, but I feel like I'm looking at Wolf and I'm looking at K-Rool and I'm looking at that matchup, and I feel like I see where the tools are. I understand.
You can see the logic.
Yeah, I don't think it was a bad pick at all. But I look at it and I think Wolf has probably more tools in this matchup to naturally do it, but maybe Poogie feels more comfortable with the K-Rool naturally, and maybe in the matchup it's just one of those things where he's like, I'm more used to this one.
And I mean, and honestly, I want to take a look at some of the replays from that set as well. Replays, by the way, brought to you by Red Bull, who have been awesome for GOML many years in the past and still are today to have them online. And yeah, no, I definitely want to take a look at some of the stuff that happened in that last match with the Red Bull replay, because like you were mentioning, two very different playstyles between the Wolf and the K-Rool, and you wouldn't really expect K-Rool to be the character that comes out against the Belmont, but given that game 2 was on Smashville, he went back there.
Yeah,
I was like, okay, that's not a great stage for Wolf in that matchup against the Belmont, but with K-Rool, I can see the logic, right? Because at that point, Belmont can get stuck on the platforms, right? He can have difficulty maneuvering when it's so close quarters and you've got the big body right in front of you.
You know, Poogie did exactly what I wanted to see, and that was find an answer for that forward tilt, and he found it. He just found it in King K-Rool.
It was called a large belly. Which, you know, it helped him live a couple times, but, you know, you can see right here, just getting up close to the Belmont can still be a death sentence if the projectiles are already out, and that, I think, is really where the problems lie, is that with Wolf, you're having a lot of trouble with, you know, the whip, and with K-Rool, you're mostly having problems with the projectiles. And even there, with that back air to finish out the set, he was put into that situation because of the pressure from the cross that was already on stage, preventing him from landing safely.
Exactly. There's so much of that where, as Wolf, you always have access to the reflector, but as K-Rool, you have to have a very specific spot in order to make that reflector actually function properly. You don't have the same crazy aerial drift that Wolf does, so you can't just kind of weave out of the aerial pressure that all of the projectiles are putting on. But you do have the armor, so up close is a little bit better in that mid-range. It's, you know, we saw so many times where he would just toss out the crown and sit there as fire was burning on him, and like the cross would go through, and he would just...
arm is extended, so I cannot be injured.
I am literally invulnerable right now.
What is you doing?
And then, of course, eventually he would lose the armor and get knocked into the air and take 70% or whatever. But, you know, it was the idea.
The heart and the mind were there, but the body was not. Well, actually,
the body was
physically there, and it really needed to not be there.
Yeah. But I really do respect the attempt from Poogie. I think it was a lot closer. I like the adaptations. It was very close in heart. I think it definitely could have gone differently. Maybe if you had started with K-Rool, could have gone through different adaptations and all that. But I don't know. Maybe we'll see something through the losers bracket. Poogie is a player I wouldn't mind seeing more of. But Yoshifuda especially as well, making this run through the winner's side. Definitely expect to see more of him.
Expect to see more of him, but I think that a lot of people have been excited for what's coming up next. We're actually getting this match is to make it into top 16, to make it out of Pool's winner's side. A lot of people have looked at this bracket and gone, okay, this is the one, this is the people's champion right here that I'm rooting for. None other than the young core and main Shattuck, who is up in the bracket, seeded number 1 in the pool. And yeah, I would expect that he's going to be playing with some fire today. He's going to be going up against Sama, who is somebody that I have not heard of yet. I went to go look up Sama on player database earlier, and I found 4 different Samas that had characters next to them, and about like 14 Samas in general. Also, I don't know which one this is.
I will mention Sama has not played a single round of this tournament yet. He won over a DQ over Nail and a DQ over one player that I was really excited to see, local Texas player Teaser. Unfortunately, I guess wasn't able to make it to the bracket, but now Sama all the way to winners finals of this bracket, or winners semis, I guess, rather.
winners semis, and then finals would be you made it to top 16. Yeah. So that's very interesting to note, actually, because this should have been set up for, you know, one of the People's Champs versus the man who embodies what we call in our region DFW unranked.
Yes.
Which is the, you know, we don't have a whole lot of, we have Lima, we have Austin, right, in the DFW area, but outside of that, it's not a whole lot of names that you, and Grayson also, right?
Yeah.
Outside of those three, you don't look and go like, okay, these are names that I know. Everything else is sort of up for grabs from everyone else. And in that group of like 20 or so people, Teaser's one of the people that has come very close often to making it on PR, but does not. And he's one of the people that, you know, you come and fight and you see a guy Teaser and bracket, you're like, I've never heard of this guy. You play against him, and then you lose. I literally had a friend from New England, right, who told me, hey, so this Teaser guy, who is he? And I was like, oh, he's like, he's pretty good. He was like, is he PR'd? And I was like, no. And he was like, what? And it was like, he literally came to our local and he just slapped up a bunch of us and then left. And we were like, who is this guy? And I was like, yeah, that's Teaser, but hopefully he's DQ'd into loser. He's DQ'd entirely, and he's almost actually out of pools, which is really funny. Which just goes to show you how good Teaser is. But we're not going to be seeing him. We're going to be seeing Shattuck and Sama. This is Sama, the Ness main. So Corrin versus Ness. I can tell you from our experience back in Smash 4, this is traditionally a bad matchup for Ness.
Yes, and Cosmos is very comfortable with it. Now, Ness is a very different beast in this game. As a lot of people would tell you, he is not quite the same character as he was in 4. He's still very good, but it's a little bit quirkier, some of the matchups. Like, his weaknesses aren't quite as pronounced as they were. Like, in his recovery, it's gotten a lot better. But still can fall to the same weaknesses, as we're seeing Cosmos already clinically taking care of that first off.
You say Cosmos, but this is, of course, Shattuck.
Oh, Shattuck.
Yeah.
I saw Corrin and my brain was like...
Black Corrin, no less, as well, right? That's
Literally, you started talking about what we saw in DFW before, and I'm like, oh yeah, Austin versus Cosmos. So I'm seeing Cosmos versus Ness. Right, Shattuck. Shattuck is killing it.
A Ness with a purple hat, no less.
Right. Oh my gosh, I'm getting flashbacks.
Big flashbacks. But right now, I think we would be remiss to mention that Sama's already down to stock, by the way, which I did not notice, because I was like, okay, I know which Sama this is now. Looked it up, and now I look back and Shattuck has already got a 1-stock lead. Should live this back throw as well, even with not the best DI, but you know, as a Corrin, you got some pretty heavy weight, and now with the Ness off stage, Shattuck got a chance to clean up the stock.
Great job using that back air to set up the frame trap. Hero dodge through it. He's gonna get fallen into that down tilt, set up another thing. Not gonna kick. Okay, he does. I was gonna say kick forward might miss based on the positioning there, but kicking back just getting back off stage.
Oh, up throw. That should do it.
Yeah, and it does. 113% rage. Corrin in 4 was like a rage monster. Not as pronounced in this game, but still can do some work with it. Back ther's definitely not going to kill across. He's going to forward throw, set up with this PK Thunder. Doesn't find a setup off of it, though. Shattuck getting launched way too high.
Ooh. Speaking of launching, man, Shattuck is just launching into these combos, these up airs. And this is the thing that I've been really impressed with about Shattuck and how he utilizes Corrin, is that one of her great strengths is that even if you miss a move, you still get really good frame data and really good setups into throwing out another one that can cover. And Shattuck, man, he's looking for a 3-stock and he will find it with thunder.
Absolutely. At 149%, still able to make it that 3-stock clean, just let the back airs fly. Man, the back air is such a good move from Corrin.
Literally letting the back airs fly, yeah. No, it's an amazing move, because, I mean, since Smash 4, it's one of those moves that is very strong, has a ton of range, and it self-spaces. You do not have to worry about it. It will do the work for you.
Yeah, doesn't have a ton of lag, so if you try to dodge out of it, you can still catch your landing. It's just a very good move. But Shattuck taking one of the best tools of his character and applying it expertly here, continuing. Just throw it out, see what happens.
Hot pressure, man. And we talked about how rough the matchup can be for Ness too, right? Like, Corrin can perform really well against characters that don't have either crazy speed or crazy disjoints or anything like that, right? Because that's the sort of area that she commands. Another character that she does well against in theory, even though they're probably way better than her, is Wolf. Wolf can certainly beat Corrin, but Corrin has a lot of merits to that matchup that other characters simply do not. So we're going to be going to Battlefield here for Game 2, the pick for the Ness, which normally a good stage for Ness. However, against the Corrin, that very much concerns me, because that is one of her best stages.
Yeah, it is one of her best stages. Just being able to cover platforms and everything. Platforms versus Zord characters, hard. right?
And especially one like Corrin, where
Yeah.
you have the hitboxes stay out for a long time. You have multiple moves that can do it, and you don't have to worry about sweet spots like you do with Roy or Marth.
Right, exactly. You just swing wide, cover the whole platform. If it hits, great. If it doesn't, you're probably stuck in a shield somewhere and not having a good time either way. You know, Corrin likes these plats.
Yeah.
Now, slightly larger blast zones might benefit Ness a little bit more because he has more raw kill power of something like back throw than, I don't know. Pin is always terrifying, but outside of Pin or maybe the Dragon Fang shot bite, you're not going to find those like crazy killing blows. Back air is strong, but it's not going to kill you super early. So unless you're going deep off stage, at which point it doesn't matter what blast.
Right.
On Battlefield will be alright. Doesn't matter about the Nest though, and we're seeing it because of the DK. Interesting.
Something that you're very excited about, I'm sure.
I'm a fan of DK. I actually think DK... Okay, DK is in a weird spot in this kind of a matchup, since 4 as well, where he is combo food, but Corrin also is the perfect combo weight for DK. Neutral sucks though.
No, neutral is awful.
Sucks.
If you get a hit, you have either outplayed your opponent or they have outplayed themselves.
Right.
Your character is not going to do the work for you, but both players SD.
And both players outplaying themselves right here. They just, they wanted to take a trip down to Smash for memory lane with me.
This is the first time I can ever unironically say, let's go both players.
Let's go both players. Get up attack is going to punish that. Maybe a dash attack does follow up.
Up smash, interesting.
Yeah, maybe trying to catch a jump. Interesting.
But even then, if the Corrins jump above you and they see you charging a smash attack, you just mash the Nair button.
Yeah, Nair is a very good button. Very good button for Corrin.
Back air again.
Great drift from Shattuck to avoid the counter assault to go down there.
We'll say great drift also from Sama, though, to get away from any possible follow-ups right there, get back to the ledge. And now, ooh, that might have been supposed to be a back air.
Going for the ledge trap. That is so hard to avoid.
I mean, you don't get out of that as a character as big as DK. Like, I'm sorry, you're dead.
That charging forward smash covers so many options on the ledge, as long as you properly are able to time it. There we go. Chasing, but weird shot on that pin. Drops it fast enough, though, that he's not getting punished by the spinning.
Yeah, shielding that whole thing was just rude.
It was absolutely rude.
Yeah.
You gotta let the DK get one. He's putting in so much effort for real.
That movement that Shattuck did there with that pin actually was really cool. That he immediately went down, didn't pin into the stage, but got it so low, right? Got the lance very low under the stage, but either way,
a lot of committal smash attacks to try to cover ledge options. I would really love to see him wait. Maybe turn back to Shattuck and right in the back.
Ooh!
See, back is a pretty good move. Shattuck's using it.
Yeah.
Maybe Sama should pick it up.
I think especially as the DK man, that's like one of your best neutral moves.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good move. But Shattuck, through any kind of opposition, whether it be the Ness or the DK, whatever you're throwing at him, he's ready to adapt, change his game plan just a little bit. Still throwing at the back airs, but
yeah,
change it what needs to change and keeping what needs to stay the same.
Yeah. So Shattuck definitely kept the whole thing, pretty much just easy breezy beautiful. I don't remember what brand that is, but it doesn't matter because they're not sponsoring the stream. But yeah, no, Shattuck just kept it clean and said, okay, my back air is going to outspace both of my opponent's characters, and it's going to be a kill move. And then if they get above me, Corrin's one of the best juggling characters in the game. If she had more speed, she would be the best.
Yeah, thank goodness she doesn't, because the character's already really good with the limited speed pool that she does have access to.
Yeah.
But, she had like cloud speed, I'd be really worried.
That character would be I'll put it lightly, a problem.
Cheating.
Cheating, yes. Macaroni and.
That would be a Tekken DLC character.
Oh my god, it would. Yeah, you're right. you're right.
Yeah.
I'm still so cheesed that Kiryu is not in Tekken.
Right,
it's just unbelievable to me.
I'm cheesed for you. Like, I have no investment in either game, and it just makes too much sense.
I'm like, Sega, this game is about fighting. It's about punching people, and then this game is about fighting and punching people, and it does crossovers. Could you maybe put it like, can you tell Harada to get it together? Like, I know it's
wait for Kiryu to be announced for Soul Calibur 7.
Kiryu is going to get into Smash before he gets into Soul Calibur. Before he gets into, he would get into Soul Calibur with the Marlin cannon. Any of my homies who know about the Marlin cannon, you're on my good side.
Yeah. You need to be on the good side of somebody who has a Marlin cannon.
On the Marlin cannon, yeah.
That's the side you want to be on.
Please be careful. Oh man, I went and I looked up Sama, by the way. Sama has actually entered an Ultimate Shockwave Online, which is our stomping ground, and interestingly enough, just to bring things full circle, lost to D-Tags in that tournament who we saw earlier on stream.
Okay.
So just a little something to make me go, huh. It's not really that interesting, but it's something.
Something that tickles my brain. Now, Sama, I will say, we might not have even seen the full potential of Sama there because, like we said, he was DQ'd straight into that match against Shattuck.
Right, yeah, not warmed up at all.
Meanwhile, Shattuck had played 2 rounds to get there, feeling pretty spicy, and probably still feeling pretty spicy qualifying into that next round of bracket. But maybe Sama will make some runs in the loser's end. Who knows? Who knows?
Well, we'll see who can make it out of, I believe this is pool number 4 to make it out into top 16. On the other side, we've actually got Dark Angel versus Seba, not Sega, who should be adding Kiryu to Tekken.
Right.
But we've got the other side here. We've got Ignite versus Teal, 2 players that I'm actually not super familiar with. So I'm gonna look up at least Ignite real quick because that's somebody who is seated somewhat high. I'm seeing Rosa, Terry, Ness, and Falcon dominating most of the games. It's mostly Rosa.
Interesting because I didn't see either of those as a head on their character sheet. If you go back over to the bracket, what I noticed out of Ignite was is that a Marth or is that a Chrom?
It's one of the blue-haired Fire Emblem protagonists. That looks like Marth, but my eyesight's too bad to see whether or not there's a crown. Okay.
That's definitely Marth. There's a crown.
Yeah, Ignite beat previously seen on stream Special, who got a quote-unquote win over /Ben, who maybe would have had a chance to beat Ignite but got DQ'd. So yeah, Ignite 2-0'd the Ness with his Marth. So again, sorties against Ness. You gotta expect that. So now we'll see how he does against Teal, who I'm seeing played Pit.
Yeah, Dark Pit, potentially, which it's a huge difference, in demeanor more than anything.
Boys, one player in our region thinks you're correct.
Oh, no! Yeah, no, Dark Pit, pretty much the same thing, except one is it's a demeanor change. That's the most important thing.
It's the attitude.
I think one has a way better theme song. And it's Dark Pit. Dark Pit's theme is really good.
Dark Pit's theme, I mean, you love your flamenco guitars.
I do love my flamenco guitars. They're just so clean. And also dirty at the same time.
I think I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I think I know what you mean.
It's the sound is beautiful.
I think that Masahiro Sakurai simply creates good games.
Yeah.
And the games could be even better with rollback netcode. But I will now. I'm not now. Again, Smash Ultimate, fantastic game.
Yeah,
my favorite entry into the Smash Brothers franchise. Boy, it could be better if it had rollback netcode though.
Would like that.
Wouldn't it be awesome? Well, wouldn't we like to have this match, Ignite and Teal going at it on Pokemon Stadium 2?
Marth coming out. He's just. Maybe it's one of those kind of players who will pick a character for a tournament and run with it. I love that. I've been there. Teal, looks like just stick with the Dark Pit. That's the way that they like to roll. And Dark Pit, of course, like I said, better than Nina. More of an aesthetic that I can fly with, and just a thick theme.
I mean, honestly, there is a slight difference to to the way that you want to play between Pit and Dark Pit, right? If you want to have more finesse. If you want to put more sauce into your edge guarding, then go for Pit. But if you just want to be straightforward and have more power...
Literally straightforward with that electrode.
Yeah, literally straightforward. Then, yeah, go for Dark Pit. A lot of people will go for Dark Pit because of just the raw kill power. And you don't have to think so hard. You don't have to work so hard. And that's a good thing when you play a character. The less things that you have to think about, the better.
Absolutely. Give more time for the instincts to get there.
Okay, there we go. So good air dodge there. Ignite making good use of Marth's amazing aerial drift, especially after those air dodges. And doing a great job of keeping the Pit at the ledge. That's not an easy thing to do either because of those multiple double jumps and good range on the aerials. Oh, love to see that.
Here we go. See if he can... Oh, doesn't quite get the spacing on that forward smash punish, the re-grab. Still juggling really well. Juggling against Dark Pit, I mean, you talked about multiple double jumps and all of this air drift. It's, I mean, not air drift, but, you know, options to stay in the air.
Wrong move.
Not easy to juggle this character, but Ignite's putting in the work with it. We're getting to percents where you can see just a landing catch with an up throw kill.
I mean, yeah, one grab. With a little bit more rage, it probably would. We'll see. He's probably going to go for it.
Okay. He probably knows better than me. But maybe that wouldn't kill, but he's set up for the back air. Deep tip on that one.
Well, and why not from Ignite, right? Is that he's gone 100% without getting hit by Teal and gone, okay, this is hard work, but it's honest work. And if I can keep the pit off stage, I can continue to hit him back to back to back, and eventually I'll get the stock, and he did. So I think that's really good play by Teal here to say, like you were saying earlier, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, and this is not broke.
Exactly. I'm loving seeing Ignite's platform movement here. There's not a lot of platform option on this stage. It's really wide. The platform's pretty far apart.
Oh my god!
He's trying to let trap with a taunt.
That's... I honestly... That's one of the most, like... Teal's got cojones for doing that. One, because he's down.
Yeah.
But two, because he sits there and he goes, I know that you're just hopping around me and waiting for me to commit to something, so take this.
Take this. Evening up the game, too, that's gonna dead. Yeah, that's gonna dead. That's gonna work.
And Ignite's no nonsense. His opponent SD'd, taunted before that, and SD'd, and he's not even offering a taunt back. That's how you know this man is all business.
100%. I mean, that's why he plays Marth. If he played Lucina, maybe you'd see counter taunts. Playing Marth, like you said, it's honest work.
It's honest work for sure.
You know, look at his spacing. Look at his movement around these platforms. I'm just enthralled with the way that Ignite is moving around the stage. Teal is eventually doing a good job of kind of cornering him, pushing him back, but it's a lot. It's a lot of pressure.
I mean, it's just not often that you're watching matches this early into the tournament and see people where they want to go. But sometimes that's where most of the work goes. And that time, I think that Teal definitely showed, all right, well, again, if you're not going to be throwing out a lot of moves and getting on stage quickly, I'm going to make sure that you're punished for that. This time, he, instead of taunting to be funny, he goes off stage and he actually finishes the job. So he's got a chance to bring this back. But, you know, again, against a Marth that has been continually locking him down, I think that mostly Teal really just needs to find a way to make Ignite commit, and he hasn't shown a single way of doing it yet.
There we go, still continuing to set up these ledge trap situations. Teal has to.
Oh my god!
He avoided that beautiful, neutral special. Even angled down.
Good match to get out of there. Doesn't have to get thrown off stage. Where Ignite has been doing a lot of work, but there's a miss. Does nobody ever want to talk about the fact that Dark Pit and Pit can shield in midair?
Yeah, they just have the block button.
Yeah, they can do it. No other characters can do it. But hey, you know what? No other character can make you feel something like Marth hitting a tipper. That is one of those feelings that, like, in this game, in some other past games, you're like, okay, like, he hit a tipper.
Marth
like,
tipper,
you know,
whatever.
It's pretty generous. In this game, you go, that guy had to work for that tipper.
Yeah, he really had to. He literally planted the seed. He watered it. It's been sitting there for years, and eventually he's got a nice tree.
He pulls it up and he goes, bites into it. That's a tipper.
It's worked for years for this.
Years and years.
One tipper.
I worked 6 years in Smash Brothers mines for one tipper.
That's so sad. That's how these Marth players. Somebody help them. If you know a Marth player, please.
I think our Marth players need to unionize, dude. Like,
reach out to your fellow Marth players
and say, hey, can we campaign to Sakurai for a bigger tipper hitbox?
Like, help. See how they're doing. You know, check in.
Check in on your local Marth main and say, hey man, how you doing? Okay, played Lucina yet? No. Okay.
Self-care is pretty important.
That's great.
You know,
brewed yourself a cup of tea yet lately? Good.
Yeah. Some honey in it.
I got some peppermint tea downstairs that I have not made yet.
Ooh.
And I really want to try it. A good cup of product placement tea.
Man, peppermint is a nice thing to go with some tea because you got, especially a nice hot brewed tea, because you get nice hot tea.
And the aroma.
And then the fragrance of peppermint, as well as the cooling that it brings to the table.
It's pleasant. It's a pleasant flavor.
I'm a big fan.
It's a good aromatic. Well, same Anime boys going at it, Dark Pit and Marth once again. This time we're on Town and City, at the choice of Teal, who is, gonna have to try and make some changes due to that last game. Stage can certainly help here. I think that we're gonna have to see, once again, a lot of work come out for Ignite, especially to play around those platforms, which, as you noted, can't do too much on Pokemon Stadium 2, but, I mean, damn if Ignite did not do that well.
Exactly, and now we've got one central platform a lot of the time. The platforms definitely changed. Now we don't have any platforms to work around, so it's going to be a little bit more. I think this out platform is in Teal's favor, perhaps. We'll see if he's able to work with it super well, but I know Ignite probably missing a little bit.
I think what we've seen so much from Ignite that Teal hasn't really countered yet is a lot of empty movement towards, right? Where Teal will go forward and then he'll try and get the pit to take a step closer to him and then move back and say, okay, take a step closer to me. And then the pit swings and then he's got the chance to swing back. That's going to be a forward smash big time. Take that first stock. And, it just kind of plays into the idea, right? That, you've got to kind of call the bluff eventually and say, all right, if you're not actually going to fight me for center stage, then I'm going to push you all the way into the corner.
Yeah, Ignite has done such a good job of controlling that center stage. Every once in a while, he'll get a bit of it, but platform movement really helps, and also mixing up his double jump, coming down with aggressive down airs on Ignite's part.
Ooh. Now, again, the big edge guards coming out, as we've seen, like, literally this whole set from Ignite.
Trying to call a jump from the ledge, doesn't quite find it. Still, though, over-aggressive is still trying to punish Ignite missing a ledge trap, and just gives him another opportunity.
That time, I think Ignite, still tried to play around the platforms, found a lot of success with it, but, didn't respect the fact that that hit up air is so big and so good on coverage, but, man, that neutral air finally able to fight through. That shield is not foolproof, right? It is not the R button.
Right. I don't know if that was just him breaking through the shield or if that was just Teal letting go because he had landed on the flat. I'm not sure.
It looked like the sword hit his feet.
That might be what
That's because it does angle down after the first hit.
Yeah, and that shield really only blocks what the shield is covering. Much like a real shield.
Much like you would expect a shield to do is cover where the shield is.
Ignite is just moving so fast in this game that Teal is struggling to keep up.
You got no room to breathe.
Oh dropping
no!
A big punish.
On both sides.
This could be it. There's it. There we go. We got a stock on Teal's end. He's got some rage to work with, and we've got really close side blast on him, so, we can see a nice tech chase set up into that electro arm. We can see something happen.
I mean, if he can get a tech chase on that side platform as it's going away and gets the electroshock arm, I don't think you got it.
You got it. Earn.
Ooh, went for the grab, but he went a little bit too deep, and that gave Ignite the time to get that Dolphin Slash out. Now you get the setup, though. Goes for the down air into the Nair. Very nice new combo that Pit can really take advantage of. Gets a good setup after the Nair as well.
Yeah, that Nair really is just like a miniature power game. Very good. We're finding eventually. Ignite's been fishing for it this whole time, but finally does land the one when it matters most. Last stock catches that down air clean 2-frame as Pit's coming back up.
And finally able to land the spacing on that and the timing as well. I think a lot of the times it was just
a timing
a little bit too late. Didn't take the Wi-Fi into account when he was trying to spike the Pit. But that time he goes, okay, you got no hitbox on your recovery, and as low as Teal went, that gave him the opportunity to just hover around the ledge and then finally throw out that down tilt when he was close. So, yeah, Ignite going on to top 16. Seba is going to be the other player from that pool to go on to top 16. At least on winner's side there. Yeah, with the Cloud. So,
but also the Captain Falcon on the way there.
Interesting.
So, Rock and Cloud and Falcon is some interesting characters to watch. Definitely ones that schmoove a little bit.
Yeah,
I'd love to see.
I'm looking at pool 3. You're gonna have Shattuck versus JK Sonic. So that's gonna be Corrin versus, believe it or not, Richter.
Yeah.
JK Sonic does not play Sonic, which I think is the tag. JK Sonic. JK.
Yeah,
Sonic JK.
He just did it in reverse order. Sonic JK, but actually JK Sonic.
Just not actually doing that. Yosifu, of course, we saw moving on to top 16 with the Simon. On the other side, R, who is it seems a Shulk player, gets through only having to play one match. Because his opponent Marcel, who he would have had to play, got all the way up there via DQ and looks like did get DQ'd or will get DQ'd out of the tournament if he's not currently playing Poogie to make it out on loser's side. And I really hope that Marcel comes back and plays because he's a very fun and good player to watch.
Yeah, that's tragic.
And in pool 1, In pool 1, you've got Psycho Ward, who is playing. I
that one?
cannot see that.
Looks like oh no, that's Ken.
That's Ken. All right, so
Ken.
Psycho Ward, the Ken, made it out because Hisoka 96 also DQ'd. So it would have been a double Shoto match, which would have been very fun to watch. But
Definitely.
instead, Psycho Ward's going to be moving on to top 16, and the last winners bracket game that we have yet to play is going to be coming up on stream, and that's going to be to make it out of that pool A1. On the bottom side, 2 Texans, I think both from Houston, Crump and Magic Trumpet Man.
Yeah, who has one of the best tags that I have ever seen or heard.
Rather, man, you know how tempted I am to walk over like 10 feet to my left, pull out my trombone, and then when he takes the stock, just go,
to the benefit of like 3 people.
To the benefit of 3 people, me, you, and Magic Trumpet Man.
Yeah.
We are the only thing. Everybody else would be like, "Why did you let these people get on the mic? That was a mistake."
Yeah, representing the big band.
Representing the big band. I won awards in high school. Damn it.
Yeah.
You should be thankful.
Whew. I didn't. Not for band.
Not for band.
Yeah. Never. I did band for 1 year in middle school, and I had enough of it.
That's what I was going to do. My mom basically, like, she wanted me and my sister to like play an instrument until we got to middle school, right?
Right.
Or until we got to like, I think it was like 1 year in middle school, and then you can be done with it, right?
Yeah.
And so like I used to play, like I played piano for a couple years, and I was like, I hate this. And then I tried guitar, and then I was like, I'm bad at this.
Yeah.
And so at the school band, it was like, play something that you can do in the orchestra, right? Yeah. And I was like, all right. I really wanted to play the saxophone, but then when they had me like try out a bunch of different instruments, they were like, looks like you're just going to be really good at the trombone.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I guess I'll play the trombone. And then like once I got through to middle school, I was like, this is going to count as one of my classes, and band beats, taking another history class or something.
Yeah.
So I'll join band. And that's what I did. But hey, instruments notwithstanding, we have to find out if the instrument, the high brass instrument played by the Magic Trumpet Man, is going to be able to come out on top. That would be the trumpet. You're looking at me like you don't know what I'm talking about.
No, I know what you're talking about.
Okay. You're just looking at me incredulously because I'm stupid, which I understand.
I was waiting for there to be a segue that his instrument is actually, the high brass is actually his boxing gloves because he's a little neck. But I wouldn't really be brass.
How is that high brass? I mean, it's less effective than brass knuckles. I'll give you that.
Maybe he's like that that character in the Little Mac universe who has horseshoes in his gloves.
Is there one in the Punch-Out universe?
Yeah, I think it was in the Punch-Out Wii U game. He's an Irish who has.
Oh, that would make sense.
Who has?
And I bet you would love him.
He's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's a really interesting character.
This feels like we've devolved into like a cold open for The Office or like Brooklyn Nine-Nine, where it's like, okay, can we play the title theme already because none of this makes sense anymore.
They cut to a completely unrelated.
No, they just cut to a completely unrelated, just like, Pam. All right. Anyways, yeah, we got a game to play. We got Crump, Magic Trumpet Man, likely gonna be Cloud versus Little Mac.
Would you consider the Buster Sword high brass or low brass? I'm thinking low.
I would consider it iron.
Yeah, low as it can be.
Go!
You. That's you. Anyways, that's probably what Magic Trumpet Man is going to be thinking after this match, because this matchup feels like it's probably awful to play as Little Mac.
Yeah, starting on Battlefield. A fine stage for Little Mac, but even a fine stage for Little Mac has its weaknesses in that there is a top line.
Yep. And obviously, as we saw, Trump was trying to take advantage of the fact that you can just use that climb hazard to get up the.
Goodness! Did you see him chase?
I have severely underestimated the brass player.
Yeah, never underestimate. Never underestimate the brass.
I will never underestimate the brass player. I promise you that. KO punch is coming, bro.
It's gone. But there was a lot of heart in that stage.
Look, the way that Magic Trumpet Man has been playing, I was like, man, if he just puts Crump into a corner, like after a counter, I was like, that's the perfect time to strike.
Just go for it. I don't know if 12 was enough percent. Maybe he was looking for more percent.
He still had the double jump right there. Wasn't expecting that.
He's done a great job of mixing up his recoveries. And
the drift down, nice.
Keeping it schmick. There we go.
Oh, he went for the up air.
And still, the same way he got that first stock, chasing him with the
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, that'll be the stock. That's something that I've seen in Smash 4 before. It's just coming down with the hard downer. That evokes some memories. Ooh, the double jump and then air dodge to that top platform. I actually really like that. You can tell how much he's played this character because he is pulling out every tool that he can just to make it work.
Yeah, that's true. Down tilt though, gets a nice little combo, throws him off. I'm terrified every time he throws himself off stage with one of those.
Yeah. But you know what? Like, all joking aside, you know, of the like it's pretty low hanging fruit to just keep going, haha, Little Mac bad. In all honesty,
actually,
okay, before I get there, haha, Little Mac bad. Anyways, to get back to the point I was trying to make, I think we do have to acknowledge the advantages that Little Mac does have in this matchup, which is normally Cloud can command a lot of the grounded game with his aerials, but they can be big commits. And against Little Mac, the last thing you want to do is commit to something big.
Oh, I would love to see a punish on that. So that forward tilt, that sliding forward tilt, horrifying to deal with the neutral against Little Mac until you realize once you block it, that move is not safe at all. If I were a betting man, I bet Cloud could grab it. I know Cloud's grab isn't great, but you can definitely up to it. I know that Wolf can punish it.
What? Crump had an amazing tech, but then he thought he was close enough to actually get back with the Climb Hazard going down and was not. So he can say goodbye to the stock, almost did again with just the 0% Jolt Haymaker.
KO punch is almost here. I'm terrified. Just one punch isn't enough to do it. They're scrambling. They're scrambling.
Or have you been scrambled?
I have.
Oh, you're about to get scrambled, my boy! You're about to get scrambled like eggs!
Like eggs!
My goodness.
The way he went all the way up to that top platform with the up special, baiting out a punish, because he had that KO punch, he knows you want to get rid of it. Goes straight to that platform and he says, "Chase me, I dare you."
And Crump said, "Okay."
Okay, I believe you.
Okay, I believe you.
It's safe, I promise.
It's safe. Hey, remember the part where I have KO punch?
Yeah, I lied.
It turns out I lied.
I was not telling the truth.
He was waving it in his face so much that he forgot it was there.
He was waving the white flag, but it was only white on one side.
Yeah, and on the other side it said bang.
Bang. Yeah. It's pretty much how I imagined the end of that match.
Yeah, pretty much. So I mean that's a big way for that match to end too, though, right? Because Crump, you know, started out at a disadvantage. Magic Trumpet Man was doing well, and then he started playing the matchup. You know, right? Crump had the Cloud in the lead and said, "All right, Magic Trumpet Man's got to be the one to commit. The Little Mac has got to come to me. I don't need to be afraid." And then the moment that he got KO punch, Crump abandoned that game plan and said, "I have to go to the Little Mac because if he has KO punch, I'm scared." Yeah. And he prioritized not being scared over winning the match, which is, to be fair, it's what I would do too. Yeah, but you can't do it.
This is one of those situations where like KO punch and waft and stuff like that are, and full charge shot, limit being active. These are things that matter less when Smash is played by robots, but Smash is not played by robots, it's played by people. So fear is a real thing that totally alters strategy and how things play out. It makes these tools so much stronger.
Well, and especially when you have to consider, you know, it changes up the game plan that you've been playing the whole time, where you say, oh, they have extra options, you know, whether they have Go mode or limit or KO punch, right? And so now, oh my god, again, that movement up onto that top platform with the air dodge down, oh, I've never seen well, first of all, I've never seen a Little Mac in this game, but I've never seen a Little Mac in this game do it.
I have seen a Little Mac in this game. I've had the benefit of watching some of this. It's so nice watching the little niche interactions and how your characters can up that platform. Watching like Ganondorf.
Like, of course Little Mac is gonna die there, but to go out there, the heart to take that stock in that way.
He went out on his own terms. You can't kill me.
That was the end of the F-Zero anime.
Oh, every time he throws himself off there, I'm just horrified that Crump's gonna just jump off and like get a 2-frame downer or something.
Yeah.
He hasn't really been going for it.
You would almost expect it.
Oh, how did he live? How did he live?
Dude, you got me there. I have absolutely no clue.
Little Mac players just being able to squeeze out every little ounce of recovery out of this character is truly impressive.
I mean, that's what I'm saying, is that just to make him function as a character, you have to optimize so many things that is just automatic for other... Okay, Imagine trying to cheese Mac and then you die.
You just die and they live. He was able to recover.
Went from mac and cheese to mac and cheating.
Yeah, real fast.
Yeah. And now, again, Magic Trumpet Man gets to play with a lead, and we've seen what that does to the game plan with Crump, right? Is that now that he feels like he has to go towards the Little Mac, at least in some regards, it's going to be a lot harder, because now Magic Trumpet Man stands there, gets caught on guard.
He just stood there, tried to react. He didn't press a single button, and then Crump comes down with the back here. You're not reacting.
That was like a serial guy meme. He was standing there, he was like, he will never drop down. I'm back here. Literally.
But, man, Magic Trumpet Man's still making everything work. He's down to the last toss.
I love this movement to dash back, wait for Crump to make a move, and then come right back in with that power, the sucker punch.
Trying to go for it again, but this time Crump patient, doesn't try to rush the center stage. Tries to cover the tech in place or even tech away, but tech in doesn't.
The up tilt on the shield gave him KO punch. He goes for it raw and does not find it. So now Crump can go right back to that game plan that he's been using this whole time.
Has limit as well. One mess up from Magic Trumpet Man could be.
Oh,
he down air threw it and into the up smash.
It was all a bait from the very beginning. You fell into his trap from another light year away.
And it's that top platform is. I don't want to be rid of that top platform. Please take it away from me. I don't want it. Both of the games ended on baits on the top platform. Please remove that.
It's crazy. We could go to, well, I don't know if small battlefield's legal, but small battlefield. Go to Pokemon Stadium too. I don't know.
I guarantee you that Crump would like a place with more platform still, but Magic Trumpet Man's the one's picking the stage right now. So you know what? Give him anything you can get.
I think that, you know, if you had the opportunity as Crump, you could even think like, okay, I'm gonna die really early if I go to Yoshi's Story, right? But he can't do that double jump air dodge onto the top platform, at least not the same way that he was in that game.
Yeah, we'll see. Going on Yoshi's Story.
We are going to Yoshi's Story.
It's definitely one of those things. Like you like seeing those little movement niches. I like seeing it where like Falco on this stage can't full hop to the top platform, but he can do very similar to what Little Mac does, where he full hop air dodge down and he still lands on there.
Pretty quickly. And it also makes your opponent, you know, have to use their thinking brain. Yeah. Because they have to go, okay, is he going to try and aerial me from below and then drift away? Or is he going to land in front of me and grab me?
Now, the other thing that's horrifying about this stage is because of the slants on the edge, you actually dip a little bit lower for 2 frames, makes it way easier. I know as a Wolf player, I'd benefit a lot from all that.
Yeah.
But Little Mac, especially in this matchup, I feel like those down smashes get extra horrifying.
So we'll see, man. This is his pick, and you know, I think that right off the bat, we're going to be seeing, ironically, a lot of play on these platforms because, you know, like we've been talking about, Magic Trumpet Man has had to figure out how to use this character on platforms, and now he's going, well, damn it, if I'm not going to use that ability.
Right. Still going to go for it every time he can. Gets the down tilt, waits for something.
Yeah.
Still is able to double jump air dodge down back onto that top platform. Still looks like he's able to make it happen. Still able to recover here.
Good recovery by Crump. Oh, and there it is. You see, he tries to go double jump air dodge onto that platform. It would work on Battlefield, but it does not work here. Platform is higher from the ground than on Battlefield.
No, he can still do it. It's just a little bit harder. A little bit more nuance.
No, wow, and the up B, not even.
It does. We saw earlier that it does reach, but it was a mix
up. Okay.
He's holding down. Trying to make some baits happen. That time he just wasn't even close enough to the platform.
No.
We believed.
That time he hit Crump with what Crump got him with earlier. And that time, yeah, going too low. Afraid of the Little Mac down air, I suppose?
Yeah, hey, Little Mac down air is still a spike. Sometimes.
Hey, you see what that can do with the footstools, and anyways.
It's a Zelda weak down there. Yeah.
Against Cloud, it does make all the difference.
Yeah.
And hey, we're back to even, you know, fresh 2 stocks. We see Crump go right back to this platform. He's gonna make Magic Trumpet Man work to get a hit.
Ooh, doesn't quite get the second hit as he wants it. Platform. Not really loves to be against Cloud, but you know, he's found a comfortable place, a comfortable home on these platforms somehow.
Yeah, he's found a way to get around it. And now, man,
if he connected that, I surely could have been Crump's stop.
Yeah. And now, you know, stuck on that platform too as well. Again, you have to be so careful playing around those climb hazards. And with that KO punch now, again, Crump's going to have to be on that back foot until he figures out a way to get that off. And he's going to try and go to the blade beams to do it.
Yeah, wants something to get rid of that KO punch. He does connect that blade beam. Magic Trumpet Man not able to react now. Already buff shield, caught in his dash.
He went for the down! He actually went for it!
Yeah, it makes all the difference.
I just, you don't expect to actually see it, but...
Yeah, but hey, after what I've seen with the platform movement of Magic Trumpet Man, I expect to see everything.
I've never seen somebody so confidently in control of Little Mac. I'm going, I know where I'm going to end up. I know my limitations.
Mans is actually out here planning to use his aerial. It's part of the game plan.
I mean, there are still 5 moves that you can use as Little Mac in the air. And there must be some use case for them, even if they're all terrible.
Yeah. There's a niche. Oh, the dash attack taking him all the way to the corner. He wants some extra damage first.
I think he could have. What, your opponent dead? 75% right now. Crump is getting close to closing this out. He's just got to be careful not to get KO'd, man.
Yeah, definitely can't let that KO punch rock. But we're getting ever closer. 75% for 75% of the meter.
Look at these two are just doing a pulley on the center platform. They're doing it a lot.
I was scared he was going to cross through and still get hit by that forward.
Yeah.
Smash, honestly.
Well, now you just gotta be careful as Crump, obviously. The KO punch is such a polarizing factor, and he can't shield it either, but getting rid of it now, Magic Trumpet Man's game might be slipping through his fingers.
Shielding is horrifying against KO punch.
But he also can't just not shield against Little Mac either.
True.
138%. Here on Yoshi's story, see Magic Trumpet Man live as long as he's pretty much ever lived in this set. 154, he's got to find a way out of the corner, and doing it with the rolls is so scary because that's something that Crump can read.
Ooh, but there we go. He was able to find his way into the center forward throw for a little. Crump stole it all back.
I also love how Magic Trumpet Man has been using these grabs when he actually gets up close, making him afraid of shielding, but you have to be afraid, like I said, of using the roll too much because Crump, with that big sword, can pretty safely cover a lot of options with it, and that is the way that he ended the set.
Yeah, especially as a character like Little Mac, who, in this game, shields kind of suck, right? You have a lot of time before you can do an out of shield option if you want to drop shield to do it, or you can do an aerial, maybe you get a little bit less lag, but you're Little Mac, so you're probably not going to do that. So that big sword on your shield is going to take just ages for you to be able to
that one anime?
Yeah, that's the one.
Sword on your shield?
Yeah. Sword on your shield online.
Yeah.
Sword.
Alicization.
Yeah.
Good opening. I don't know. But yeah, no. Now we have our top 16 on winner's side anyways. So just to recap on that, now that we have all of them, you've got Crump and Psycho Ward in Pool A1. You've got Yosifu and R in Pool A2. You've got Shattuck and JK Sonic, Pool 3. And in Pool 4, you have Seba and Ignite. So that's your winner's side. I think the loser sides are still wrapping up a little bit. I see Dark Angels made it out. I see
Dylan.
Yeah, I did not see Dylan play at all yet today. That's interesting.
Dylan looks like rocking the Bowser Jr. though, so that's always an interesting one.
That is very interesting. And you know what? I would also be interested in checking out a real quick Red Bull replay of that last game because we had so many moments where we were sitting there going, how did this end up happening? How did we get to this point? And Red Bull, man, you're the only one who can save us and take us back.
Yeah, a little trip down memory lane.
A trip down memory lane. The time travel. Did you know that Red Bull gives you time travel? It does not give you wings. It gives you time travel.
That's insane.
As it turns out.
I didn't know that.
Well, let's fly on back through to game 1, of course, where we saw a lot of crazy stuff around these platforms. We were amazed by Magic Trumpet Man, and that right there, right? Follow-ups off the grabs.
First talk of the set, you already knew that we saw something special out of this Little Mac.
And that right there was where you go, Crump, you went up there, man. Like,
he chased him.
He's been doing that the whole time, but man, he was able to turn it around in game 2, and that was the point where I realized, okay, Crump does still know how to play against the Little Mac, and that was a big moment for him right there to get that lucky. He went a little bit too far to miscalculation by the Little
Mac. And how do you live that as a Little Mac? That's insane.
As it turns out, even the Little Mac's down air is not a strong spike, neither is Cloud's up B.
Yeah, it's that Cloud up B is some nice cheese, but it's Swiss cheese. It's a plan with some holes in it.
It's got some holes, yeah.
Doesn't always work.
And it also goes well with tomatoes.
Yeah, sure.
I'm just
ham. Get some nice
ham
nice
cheese.
bread.
I mean, I'm thinking about like what I put on a burger, like a Swiss burger, mushrooms, mushroom Swiss. I have a bone to pick with mushroom Swiss burgers in that if I think about what I want to put on a burger with Swiss, everybody always just says mushroom because that's what they know, and I'm like, I don't know if I want mushrooms on my burger though.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
I know that I don't, but you know I eat like seven foods total.
Yeah,
So,
I know that you
can't
have the palate of like
4-year-old.
I was gonna be nicer, but I couldn't think of a way to be nicer.
There's no niceties about it. Palate for you.
There's no way to put it.
I'll just be honest.
That's well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. But so we've got our top 16 doled out, and we're gonna get into more of that later. But first, we're gonna go to a quick break here. So make sure you guys stay tuned to GOML Online. Tune into these qualifiers and make sure that you know what's coming up when all these players actually qualify and get to duke it out. So stay tuned here, and make sure you come back because we will.
Hey everybody, welcome back to more GOML Online, the South Qualifier. We're coming at y'all from the South, as you might expect.
Yeah, it's back down in the South, down in our backyard. We're in a college town. We're in Denton, so actually it's pretty friendly. Yeah. I'm not. I don't fear for my life. But
it's always a nice thing to have out of a home.
I felt sometimes when I drive down some roads, I'm like, is this thing gonna fall apart on me? Like we were talking about traveling through the South to go to tournaments, I don't know, up in Oklahoma or Arkansas or something. And I look at the roads that we're driving on, and I'm like, is this just going to turn into dirt because my car drove over it?
Right.
What are
It's actually like a platform or crumbling tile. You can step on it once and then it's gone.
And then it's gone. Yeah, no, literally.
There's no return trip.
Texas's state colors have been bright orange and white for I don't know how long because our roads are just always under construction.
Yeah.
It never ends.
Never.
But despite that, Texas is still a wonderful place to be, especially if you like Smash, and that is what this tournament is here to show you, because we've already had plenty of players qualify into GOML Online, but we gotta find one more to get through the qualifier here today for the South, and all these players have been showing us some good matches, and in particular, we've seen that from Yosifu, who's back on stream now with that Belmont, going up against R, who also made it out of that pool with the Shulk. We'll see how this goes here, game one on Final Destination.
Yeah,
with good music, I will add light plane slaps.
I'm interested to see. Final Destination is not a stage that you often see people strike to. Even when people are sitting there striking, saying I don't want PS2, it's a pretty polarizing stage a lot of the time. But when both of the characters kind of are digging it, I like to see those matches that get struck to Smash. It takes me back to Smash 4 when I would see Jason versus Cosmos, Fox versus Cora on FD all the time.
Yeah. Back when you could kind of consider FD to be a little bit neutral, and also when he was purple for some reason.
Yeah, weird times.
Because Smash 4 was the only game where FD was purple. Yeah. Anyways,
weird times.
Drifting too much with that jump Monado. That's the thing you have to be very careful about with the jump Monados. Of course, it does give you a lot of jump height, but the aerial drift becomes so much that it is very difficult to control, and that's exactly what we saw right there from R, who, honestly, I've liked the use of the Monado arts up to this point, simply because we saw the early Smash Monado or the Smash art, rather, to take the Belmont off stage very early, maybe try and get an edge guard. And we might see that again here. 65% is certainly not kill percent unless you land a smash attack in particular with that smash art.
But against a Belmont, it doesn't have to be kill percent, it just has to be knocked you far enough off stage percent, and I think that might be what it is. Going for the shield art there as well to get through all of the fire, holy water rather, get all the way to the other side, still have some offensive pressure afterwards, but a full stock behind, you've really got to get fancy with these arts to get something going.
Back into the smash art is going to be looking to perform some fancy art, but instead gets a little bit too fancy for his own good. Mr. Belmont turns it around. Okay, look, it's going too fast for me. Too fast. I am not an artist. I do not know how to talk about art terms at the speed at which these two are playing.
Ooh, but now we're seeing Buster Art's gonna come through, put on a lot of damage. Maybe that'll even up some of this deficit. Already up to 77. Catches him jumping to try to set up the holy water. Here comes the Smash Art, but that could backfire. That could certainly backfire. Put yourself up against the ledge against the Belmont.
Nice. I really like that there by Yosifu to say, okay, Smash Art's running out soon. I'm not even going to put myself at risk. Just going to sit in the shield and then let that time out. And, play to the win condition, which is I'm already in the lead, and I just need this Shulk player to make mistakes in front of me. Perfect positioning on that holy water.
Yeah, I don't know how Yosifu has amazed me with his ability to control the stage.
That's what a Belmont has to be able to do, to be able to maneuver around, because he's not fast. No. And the aerials, basically any of the moves with the whip are very committal.
Yeah, every time I watch a Belmont...
Oh my...
Nice snipe. Anytime I watch a Belmont that's good like Yosifu, it feels like they're able to move around really quickly because they control the whole stage. But if you ever try to pick up a Belmont and try to do that same thing, he moves so horribly slow. It feels like you're playing the game through water. Yeah. Not great. But good players... They make the best of their tools.
I can hear Belmont doing doing his jumps, doing his hurdles, man. But and that's a little bit of what he had to do against the Shulk, right? Because we saw a lot of use of the jump Monado the Smash Monado utilizing tons of aerials that you can't just completely play grounded. You can't obviously commit to the air a lot against the aerials, but if you play too grounded, you're giving Shulk that ability to control the stage. And like you were talking about, you have to find that time to be able to actually get those projectiles out, to utilize what spacing you can with the whip and actually put the Shulk into a corner, make him commit.
And it's really hard to kind of pin down Shulk when they have that jump art activated or the speed art activated, because they move so quickly. You might be trying to set up an axe or trying to set up a holy water, trying to set up your cross, and they've already jumped way over it. They're crossing over you with a nair. They're already the other side of the FD, and there's a lot going on, right? But masterfully able to cover all those options. Yosuke took the first game, and now we're seeing Town and City as the pick going into the next one.
Town and City for the Shulk. I guess Shulk does kill a lot off the sides. You can do a lot of stuff with like your smash art.
Fair's terrifying.
I think that mostly this is going to play out to the layout of the stage, and you know, kind of say, all right, it's still kind of flat, but at times I will have zones where I can escape from the Belmont, right? If you have those platforms on the side on the city transformation, then you can kind of give yourself a little bit of breathing room and say, right, all he can do here is forward.
We're seeing starting off with the forward air, that pressure off the whip, and even with all this stage space that's wider than FD, still gonna be able to pin a good amount of the stage down with those projectiles.
And you can see Yosuke is already caught on to some movement habits there. He says, okay, you're above me, you want to try and go over me, and then get to center stage, so, you know, take this up air, take another while you're at it, too.
Ooh, there you go. Nice air into the dash attack, puts on a lot of pressure. Smart use of the down tilt just to fly still with all of your resources.
I mean, that's your real only option of horizontal burst movement as a Belmont, and had to utilize that to get back onto the stage. Now, with the Shulk in the corner, this is what I'm talking about. Even though Shulk can get those early kills off the side, you have to be aware that the Belmont can as well. And forward tilt at the ledge of Town and City, I'd imagine that right about now it can take the stock.
There we go, and Holy Water. Again, we're seeing that, using it to get off the ledge, catches our jump, and you're going to end up catching him high up with the up smash as well as seal it. Still only 57% on Yosuke.
Yeah, he's been doing a great job of playing defense this game too. Last time it was a whole lot about applying the offense. Because he was on Final Destination, he didn't have a lot of options to play defensively. But now, you can see that when there are platforms present, he's more willing to play near those and to try and make the Shulk come to him, whereas now, when it's completely flat, he wants to be up close and he wants to be swinging.
He's catching so many of these Holy Waters, still able to use the shield art to get out of the situation, but man, Yosuke, he knows where to play something.
That's 100% unanswered by R so far. Yeah, no. Totally unanswered, and it looks like this could keep going. And it does, in fact. R's a little bit too into the stage, and that's a 0 to death.
Yeah, it was slow and steady, but he's moving forward in the race. You know, 2/3 of the way there.
Oh my god, the spacing, the placement that Yosuke has had on these Holy Waters have impressed me. I've never seen a Belmont do that so consistently.
Cash it off the ledge, just watch it drip down as a wall of fire.
It's literally create your own PK fire.
No, jeez. That's terrible. Oh my gosh, he just got another 0 to death off the fire into the big whip with a forward smash deep off the side of the stage. Thank you, Town and City Blast Zones. That was insane. That was insane. He took 57.4% and then said, I actually don't want to get hit anymore. I don't want to get hit anymore at all, so I won't.
I mean, 2-0 to the first one was like, man, that's just good playing. And then he put his foot on the gas, shifted up a gear, and then kept it going.
He said, actually, the same thing, but quicker this time.
Yeah. He was literally playing He was literally playing Whiplash on the movie screen. Yeah. And he said, all right,
you're dragging.
Why do you suppose I just threw a holy water at your head?
You were dragging.
Rushing or dragging. Again.
It was incredible to watch. Like, I think Good Belmont is really interesting to watch.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about this with Terry as well. Belmont is one of those characters where I never want to play. I hope I never play a Belmont in my life. These kids, I hate them. But if I watch a Belmont, I'm like, yeah, let's go. This is cool.
Exactly. And you know, you're playing the game and you're like, man, I gotta play so slow. And then you watch that and he's like, he was just full throttle on him.
I mean, just the thing about Belmonts is that you get to press buttons.
Yeah.
You do get to just press buttons all the time, because when you press a button, you get some space control.
Yep.
And with other characters, you're usually giving up space if you're pressing buttons. But it is not so with the Belmonts.
Whip. Just whips.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Demonstration of what the Belmonts are bringing to the table. I don't know. Yoseful looking pretty clean. Happy to see him move on. I believe we see Crump has also moved on in the brackets. So that's pretty awesome. Moving on over Psycho Ward.
And now we're going to see one of our other winners side, the other, in fact, winners match before they move on to finals day. We're going to have Shattuck versus JK Sonic. So the return of the Corrin.
And the return of the Belmonts.
The return of the Belmonts.
I believe this one is not a Simon, but a Richter.
And, if we get into losers bracket later, maybe the return of the Mac.
Right.
if Magic Trumpet Man can keep it going. But right now, no, yeah. Belmont and Corrin, two characters that, you think about and you say, all right, it's all about controlling space, but none of it is with movement speed.
Yeah, no, the two very slow characters who have some big disjoints, a lot of spatial control with some projectile pressure out of the Corrin, but a lot of projectile pressure out of the Belmont.
So it's basically this whole match for Shattuck is going to be, how do I get anywhere near this Belmont, right? Because if JK Sonic plays anything like the way we just saw Yosifu play, then Shattuck is going to have just a can you help me with vocabulary?
Yeah, if you tell me what you're trying to say.
A slog of a time.
Yeah, no,
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
I looked at these two sandbags and then into their eyes, and then I just turned into that. That's what my brain turned into. I was just like, you know what? I feel these two right now.
Yeah, no limbs, just chilling.
Just chilling. No thoughts, head empty.
Head empty.
And
The
as
head full
any
of music CDs that we beat out in the
yeah, it's literally just like Mario Party 2 music playing over and over in my head. If you ever hear me and you are like, hey, come on, does it sound like they know what they're saying? It's because my brain is turned into that. I have ADD, and sometimes my brain goes, right, it is time to take a break.
For me, it's Mirror Beam music that hits me.
Yeah.
I really am sad that we don't have any of that on Pokemon Stadium 2 playing. Opportunities. I want them to remaster those games so we have an excuse to put them in this game.
You know what? I'm with you on that. I feel that sometimes.
I also think those games are dope and hard to play now without legal measures. So I just want them to remaster them so I can play them. Maybe make a new one, because I think playing through a Pokemon game in the doubles format is interesting and fun.
I think it's great,
especially if they added new mechanics. Because last time we did that was in Gen 3, and Gen 3 doubles was kind of whack.
Here's the thing. I've never I play a lot of randomizers now, and sometimes, I'll catch a Drapion or something. I'm like, oh, it knows Rage Powder. That's cool. And then I'm like, wait, this whole game is singles.
Right. It doesn't even matter.
Yeah, it does not matter one bit. But hey, you know what? Pokemon Stadium 2, again, that's going to be our venue. And honestly, I think that is a just wants to go here. And I think that's mostly going to come down to the fact that you can take control of center stage by getting on top of those platforms, force your opponent to back up a little bit when you're there. So we'll see if Shattuck is able to take advantage of that. Right now, though, we're seeing exactly what I was talking about. If you're playing Corrin, getting close to Richter is going to be a nightmare. Yeah,
straight for the ledge trapping, and we see it last for quite a while because that's where the strengths are going to lie. We saw it out of Yosifu, we're going to see it out of JK Sonic. And already going for some of the wild stuff. We didn't get to see too much of out of Yosifu, but those down air follow-ups, maybe it's just because Simon is a little bit older, a little bit less spry.
Yo, two big combos just back-to-back. I'm playing Sonic Rush right now. We're giving to him back-to-back. I mean, we saw, and that's, you were talking about it, right? JK Sonic is pulling out a lot of combos that we did not see from Yosifu. That was more just plain and simple, I'm going to oppress you with projectiles. And this time with JK Sonic, it's, I hit hard and I'm going to take advantage of that.
Oh, the down smash! The down smash! That was our 6th setup. Goes for the single hit down tilt. Who's ready to tech that?
You know what? Now that I think about it, I don't see a whole lot of tech chases from Belmonts, and that seems like somewhere that they would really excel.
Yeah, definitely. And pulling out the down smash for it. Love to see it. Ooh, DI. He just barely wasn't able to survive there. On pretty close to the corner.
Well, and what's crazy is that whole stock happened, man. He fires right back. The whole stock happened because of that right there. Is got a little bit aggressive on the landing, wanted to catch Shattuck, dropping the shield on a mix-up on timing, and then threw out the aerial rather than just empty landing and waiting. And that opened up the chance for the pin to kill him. And that time, he did the exact same thing, and it works. So the no mix-up, comes into play for JK Sonic.
Really deep fair on the shield is definitely going to be eaten alive by that the uppercut coming out of the Belmont.
But what I really love about JK Sonic is that he's not often giving up a ton of stage control to throw the projectiles and limit Shattuck's options. He's actually staying firm, standing where he is, throwing the projectiles, and then advancing forward, which is not something that you normally see from Belmonts. They try and just put you into that range where the tip of the whip will hit you, and then you have to get limited by the projectiles. That time, not ready for that to go right through the holy water.
Right past. Definitely stole some stage, gave Shattuck an opportunity to move through. Now he might have an opportunity to seal it, but really high recovery, doesn't try to get low with anything.
Great job holding on to that jump too. You can see though that like he's making a few commitments in a lot of cases where I'm like, okay, but Shattuck can really punish that, especially as we saw with the pin more than one time now, just out of range for that forward smash. That's what I'm talking about again, about giving up that space and not being in range to strike back.
Yeah, definitely. We're seeing more forward smashes out of JK Sonic than we did see out of Yosufu, but more of them missing as well. And definitely gonna have to kind of tighten up those screws.
More volatile game style, to be sure.
They're coming through for the throw, though, getting real close. Of course, you're terrified of more of these projectiles, more of those whips coming through. Kind of slid in for that one.
JK Sonic had to be so careful of that back there, which he's already seen from Shattuck is such a threat, something that Shattuck really likes to lean on as a spacing tool. Up air, not quite going to do it.
Basically, he just ran for the short pop up air. That, again, we saw that set up before against the KU, or no, it's against the DK.
That's like almost an S down smash at ledge. It's like not quite, but like the idea is, well, you just get up attack now.
Yeah.
Ooh, the fake out, and now a grab afterwards. Shattuck is playing well. He's playing the game that is in front of him and not one that he is imagining in his head.
That's pretty important sometimes, is just to swing at what you see.
It's important to know what works in a matchup and what doesn't, but it's even more important to know what's working in the game that you're playing and what is not. And I know that sounds very simple in concept, but sometimes people are like, I don't know why I'm losing to this character. I should never lose to this character. It's like, well, you're letting them get away with cheese. And right now, man, Shattuck hasn't even used any amount of cheese at all. It's literally just been, okay, clean corn combos, and then, oh, you put yourself in a corner. Let me take that stock real quick.
At one point, still great matchup awareness, too. He was able to finish up with that holy water, but on the last one, Shattuck's SDI to get away from a grab was so nice, and getting the cross-up hit on there out there, crossing up the DI was not ready for JK Sonic. Dropping that first game, Shattuck taking it.
I think JK Sonic was maybe expecting Shattuck to wait for an air dodge and then punish with a back air or something like that. So just tried to hold away, tried to get away from the threat range of that back air, and instead the up air just comes up and decks him while he's trying to not air dodge. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, Shattuck, Corrin's a lot about, it's not quite frame traps, but you set up for 50-50s constantly with that character.
All the time. And there are frame trap opportunities among that as well. It's just really hard to land against this character, a juggling monster. And when you're a player like a character like a Belmont, you don't have a lot of aerial drift. You have maybe one mix-up of the down air sometimes, but
that wouldn't have worked against the up air.
Down airing into a sword doesn't really give you a whole lot. So once the Belmonts are in the air, they kind of struggle.
So we're gonna have to see a whole lot more of JK Sonic doing exactly that, trying to stay a little bit more grounded and trying to say, okay, well, if the Corrin wants to jump and use aerials at me, I've got, the forward tilt, for example, 1. I think that can probably outrange the forward air from Corrin. But even on top of that, say, okay, Holy Waters real quick. The game plan's got to go to focusing on keeping the Corrin at the mid-range. And it's kind of like what we were saying when we saw, earlier against the Wolf, right? When Yosufu played against the Wolf, it was, okay, up close, Belmont's gonna struggle. And at long range, you can't really do anything other than just throw some projectiles and maybe one hit because your opponent messed up. But again, up close here, Corrin's dominating. And there's that down air you're talking about.
Sometimes it does get you out of
I think right there, I mean, that's just good. That's just good. Shattuck's like, stop talking about the Belmont. Look at me.
Yeah,
I'm the one you should be paying attention to.
And armor through the cross to get the forward throw, and then catching the mix-up and disadvantages. Pin's about right. Kill at 74.
Tipper pin has always been insane, but especially in this game, man. Just seems like it hits someone in a Town City as well. JK Sonic's pick already coming to bite him.
You know, if he had connected with that up special, that might have killed.
Even on Town City?
I don't have the belief that JK Sonic did when he went for it. But the fact that he had the gumption to go for it right there, I can respect in a player.
Ooh, and again, Shattuck catching that drift away with the up air, following him and getting a big read. Fantastic DI from JK Sonic. Keeps him alive long enough to die off the bottom blast zone instead of the top.
Yeah. Man, Shattuck has really applied a lot of offensive pressure in this game, and JK Sonic is struggling to keep up.
Ooh, nice weight right there, rolling back in. And just letting that cross get out of there. And there, we saw JK Sonic try and set up for one of the things that we saw a lot from Yosifu, trying to get that holy water to drip off the edge of the platform, but it was misspaced, and that let Shattuck get around and get up close to start another combo, and this could be it, man.
There you go, goes for the up air because it looks like he wasn't believing and connected to the Fang shot right there. Just get extra damage, keep him flying.
JK Sonic's like, oh, I've got to find a way to make this comeback. This really sucks. And Shattuck's like, haha, up on the C-stick.
Up, forward, and just swing a C-stick with aerials.
Ooh, he tried to empty land Tomahawk, but JK Sonic was ready for a landing aerial and wanted to upbeat out of shield, so he got the win in that situation anyways.
There we go, still able to recover through the drip, but the down smash is going to clean it up. Doesn't quite get the 3-stock, but can Shattuck clean it up with a clean 2? And JK Sonic, maybe he's got the momentum now. Maybe he's going to bring it all the way.
Oh my god, I thought that he got a free stock right there, but
Right.
Shattuck had the distance.
Barely, barely. I was a little concerned.
Hey, he's trying so hard, right, to just, if anything, not fall into that holy water and give JK Sonic free setups. The trade right there means that he won't get the chance to upbeat off the top either. And 101, this is all about landing one of those back airs from Shattuck as you're seeing him go for it.
A really deep whip is not going to be punished. Not leaving him in a comfortable situation, and now Shattuck catches that back air, probably on the drift back, spacing away with that whip, is going to take that game.
Yeah, and I mean, what can you do there in that situation as a Belmont, right? We've talked about it. You just don't have that aerial speed to be able to maneuver around when your opponent is going for one aerial over and over. And in that case, Shattuck said, look, I've got time to play with, and if I just keep throwing out these back airs, eventually one of them will hit, and it'll probably be game, because this thing's strong as hell.
Yeah, and to move on, now we see Shattuck moving on in the bracket. We also, on the other winner's side, we got Saba moving on in the bracket over Ignite. We got to watch Ignite's Marth moving around on those platforms, but Saba was able to take it with his Captain Falcon. So it's like Falcon and Cloud, if I remember correctly, are characters that he's bringing into the bracket, and Falcon's the one who's moving him even further.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing the Falcon, but let's look back at this set between Shattuck and JK Sonic. We've obviously seen, Shattuck was in control for pretty much most of that set. That right there is the cherry on top, right? That just shows you he really had a great idea of how JK Sonic was playing defensively, and sort of like we were saying at the beginning of the set, right? It seems like JK Sonic has much better offense with those kinds of combos than we saw from the likes of Yosifu, but he was just getting hit too often.
Yeah, I mean, once he has the setup, he goes for the sauce. He goes for those dares, he finds the drag downs, and gets some afterwards, but sometimes it's that simple, clean pressure that you need.
But, again, simple and clean pressure, all it takes to win a game, and Shattuck definitely showed that by just being persistent with those back airs and forcing JK Sonic into situations where he will go into the air and then he can land those back airs. Because we saw Shattuck whiffing a lot when the Belmont was just standing on the ground. It was not low enough to hit him.
Yeah.
And eventually he went, okay, so I've got to get him into the air and then I can find this back air. And then it worked out.
Worked out pretty well, I'll say. Moving on, 2-0 in the bracket. Everyone on winner's side going through 2-0. Which is kind of impressive.
Yeah, I think that definitely shows you that, the people that have gotten to this point have definitely proven, and it goes to show also that we know most of the people that are in the winners bracket. Saba's the only one that is in winner's side top 8 that I have not heard of before today, but I've heard of Yosifu, I heard of Crump, I know Shattuck pretty well, so those are guys that I look at in this bracket, and I go, okay, yeah, I would expect them to actually qualify, if they're playing at their full potential, but meanwhile on the loser side, we've got, honestly, I think that Magic Trumpet Man and Poogie were the only people that I've heard of before even getting to this top 16. And that's because I heard of them today. But Magic Trumpet Man, is moving on. He's actually going to be playing against JK Sonic later in the losers bracket. But first, we're going to be seeing the return of Ignite going up against Rated Rudy.
Rated Rudy bringing the Greninja, who is going to be really, Marth is a character that really benefits when he's able to control the spacing of the stage, really slow it down on pace. I think that's why we saw Falcon succeed on Saba's end. And I think Greninja is a character who can really break that zone. Big zone breaker kind of character. Comes through with those dash attacks, dash with the down tilt. And he has a lot of space as well, being able to set up his forward airs. And he doesn't have to rush in all the time because he has access to the shuriken. So, Greninja, wall breaking kind of Pokemon.
Right. So I think that going up against Marth, yeah, you're right. I think that Greninja has a lot of tools to break down that precision that is required to play Marth. We talked about it. You have to work so hard to land those tippers and to actually make the character function. But on the other hand, Greninja is very linear when he wants to utilize the few disjoints that he does have. And that is where Marth can take advantage and say, okay, he's going to try and use a disjoint so I can drift back, I can give him some space. But then once he lands, once he's not able to use that forward air or that forward smash, what have you, I can drift back in and strike myself. My sword's bigger anyways.
This is also a matchup where I feel like Marth can get a little bit more aggressive than against most other characters because the out of shield options Greninja has, well, he doesn't. He doesn't have them. So Marth actually does get to apply a little bit more pressure than normal in the matchup, kind of force some movement out of the other player.
Down tilt's going to be huge.
Down tilt, forward air landing is going to be way better than normal because of the space that he's able to provide there.
Can agree to that.
Might have to catch a lot of full hops out of shield. See what you do on that.
Yeah, no, you're actually right. I think that a lot of the game plan does have to revolve for Ignite around, getting the Greninja out of shield, what limited options he does have, limiting them further, and then saying, okay, as long as I can stop this Greninja from comfortably applying a lot of offensive pressure, because that's where Greninja strives, is when he gets to play his own game and he gets to make you, kind of play on the back foot and figure out, okay, if you let Greninja play the way that he wants to and you try and play the way that you want to, Greninja's going to win almost every single time. Honestly, that's why I think that Eclipse is one of the better players in our region. Just because everybody in our region wants to play their way. And they don't focus on stopping the Greninja from that offense and stopping that Greninja from getting up close. And, if the Greninja has to play defensive, it will probably not be as good for him. So I think that Marth is one of those characters that can absolutely force him into that playstyle.
Yeah, I mean, normally, again, we see Marth being a more defensive kind of a character. More of a less aggressive build. But going into a matchup like this, I feel like maybe he's got to be a little bit pro-tan with his movement. Maybe change some things up.
Yeah.
Get aggressive when he wants to.
I think that if you want to pull off that aggression too against against a Marth, right? I think that Marth can take advantage of that very well. I think that you can say, okay, if the Greninja wants to hold forward to me, and we saw a lot of this from Ignite as well, drifting just outside of a threat zone as somebody approaches and then biting back in like a snake. I think that you really do have to have a kind of battle bond with your Greninja to actually be able to apply that offense against a character with a disjoint like Marth.
Yeah. And I'm interested to see, now there's going to be no PS2, no Battlefield, no Smashville, so it's either going to be FD, which I really don't expect out of...
Now that that Ignite gets to pick.
Yeah. The Ignite gets to pick, I expect FD to disappear, so probably going to be Town. What is the last starter?
I don't actually know, because it's that slot, right, that is usually up
mixed.
for grabs.
I don't think we've seen Lilat, though, and knowing Max Ketchum's involvement,
knowing that Max has anything to say about it, no, it's not going to be Lilat.
So probably going to be Town and City that I expect to see, but definitely not an easy choice because boy does Greninja love both of them. But if I'm Ignite, I remember Ignite for his platform movement. So at least having a little bit here and there would be nice.
He played well on Town and City when we saw him too.
Yeah,
I think that Town and City is a good place for him to go. And you just have to be concerned about the fact that, Greninja has the 50-50 setups at the ledge that'll kill you at like 75.
Yeah, sometimes that's just how life is. Sometimes you flip a coin on whether or not you die at 60.
And then you do.
And yeah. But sometimes you hit the tippers. Yeah, and it is Town
and
City.
Then your opponent dies at 60.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Town City. About exactly what I expected. So
I think that that's good for Marth to also have a pretty straightforward game plan. Obviously, Greninja can get some benefit out of platforms, but it doesn't surprise me to see that Battlefield was banned, for instance, because there are a lot of ways for you to leverage your aerials and say, okay, if he tries to run away from me, I can still apply pressure. Whereas on a more flat stage, if the Greninja tries to run away from you, it's very hard to apply pressure.
Immediately taken to the platform for his aerial assault, coming out with forward air. Again, it'll be a lot better in this matchup than against a lot of others because that shield is not as good of an option for Greninja as a lot of other characters. Coming down with a Nair eventually. We'll see Nair dash attack. We're going to see Fair setting up for dash attack, or just dash attack outright. He's going to get some mileage in there.
Right off the bat, we're already seeing Rated Rudy apply pressure to these platforms and an assisted 0 to death there with that SD. Ignite's going to have to shake that off and come back strong.
Yeah, definitely going to have to shake it off. You can't let that affect you too much going to the next game, but he is loving trying to use this Dolphin Slash to get out of pressure, and I don't know if it's worked yet.
I think that, honestly, Greninja's so good. Greninja, we touched on it, very bad out of shield, but on shield, his pressure is pretty much unbeatable. And I think that you honestly have to sort of abandon the notion of that up B out of shield. Not entirely, but you can't let it be a primary game plan because Greninja can so often get out very quickly. It's like saying, okay, I'm going to try and punish Wolf for nairing my shield.
Oh, yeah, that's always fun. That's a fun game to play. You like losing.
It's a fun game to play if you're Wolf.
Yeah. Man, we're just seeing all the pressure, and sometimes we're seeing Raven Reed back off a little bit, dash throw some water shurikens, but a lot of it is him choosing when to go in, and Ignite just has to play the guessing games.
Oh my gosh, you see the spacing with those down tilts as well was so good from Rudy, and now that he's got the Marth off stage, great save of the recovery. A lot of Marths right there would have immediately gone for the Dolphin Slash, and that would have been dead. Anti-air with the tipper forward tilt, not quite gonna do it.
Clean guy from Rudy and a clean...
Oh!
Shadow Sneak!
This is what I'm talking about, right? You can't let the Greninja just play the way that he wants to, because that's the kind of thing that's going to happen. Ignite is leaving himself open for that offensive pressure when there shouldn't even be any.
Forward tilt? Even a forward tilt from Marth got a full hop out of shield out of Rated Rudy. Greninja is not great out of shield.
Yeah, does not have many options. Certainly almost none of them attacks. So instead, you know, you just try and play evasive as the Greninja, and it can be hard for Marth to catch up. I think that it's hard because of the way that, you know, Greninja's a faster character, but he has worse aerial drift. If Marth tries to run away from a Greninja, which he'd have to have a lead to do, then it's going to be hard for Greninja to catch up to him. But in any case like this, where you've lost a stock, but you've still got a full stock and a half lead, just about, Greninja can certainly run away from Marth if he wants to, but that's not Rudy's style.
Oh, definitely not. He likes to keep the pressure going on. I'm seeing it.
Ignite, though, these recoveries have been really, really good. The patience to say, okay, I know Greninja, actually pretty good edge guarder just in weight, just that you wouldn't expect. It's not straightforward. They've been doing a great job of just saying, oh, it's all right, I'll hold up, and then I'll come back.
Again, it's really hard for Ignite to press into the space that Rated Rudy's covering. Because even if he dash attacks, goes to the other side, or if you get through, his burst movement makes the stage control so much less prevalent. That was something that we actually saw a lot from Ignite in earlier games, where he wasn't playing against characters with tons of burst movement, so he was able to hold on to the stage control that he had for much longer. Here against Rudy, it's a lot harder, but he is catching big commitments, and that's why he's almost got this down to last stock also. 109% on Rated Rudy, but Ignite's not sitting at a healthy percent either to make this. It's gonna be difficult. It's gonna be difficult for sure. Maybe if he takes the next stock, maybe some tipper cheese. We'll see something happen. Up there, catching him out of his charging animation, but forward smash on the way down. That's an answer. Yeah, I think that Rudy definitely caught him, swinging a lot. Ignite, I think, was in that, okay, I've got to take the stock. I've got to get onto the last one. So maybe this is where I can get my offense going and I could start swinging. And then one over commit. He was pretty high above Greninja too, but it was in that mode where Rudy just kind of had to throw out something like a smash attack. He was at far too high percent to get any confirms. I think that even if he died and had no rage, he still wouldn't be able to find any on Marth. So, it's at that point where you just really have to be scared of the raw, basically the sword moves, right? The forward air, the forward smash, something like that. Yeah. And a lot of that game, I feel like the pace was set because of that start. We had a quick 50%, and then the assisted, 0 to death with the SD. That really played a lot into the pacing of the game. I feel like maybe with the next start, if we see Ignite keep his feet a little bit closer to the ground, could be a whole different ball game depending on who's going to be able to get the momentum started.
Yeah, again, Marth can really run away with the game if he's able to stay in the air against Greninja, but you, one, have to have a lead to be able to do that, and number two, you have to be very careful about when you're going to be near the Greninja and when you are going to drift away, because one, if you drift away too often, the Greninja can run in, use that burst movement to punish you on the landing. But if you stay too close, Greninja still has good frame data, maybe not out of shield, but he has good frame data otherwise that can punish you even with that forward smash. It's pretty fast and it hits pretty hard.
Oh yeah. That's not a move I want to contest with.
So game 2, Ignite is switching to Captain Falcon and taking Rated Rudy to, well, it's Battlefield, which we saw Rudy ban very early on against the Marth, and I think that against the Falcon, you also really wouldn't want to go here.
Now, what's interesting, I feel like I remember us looking at Ignite's character sheet, and we never even saw Marth. We saw stuff like Rosalina, and I believe the Captain Falcon was among it. Quite a few characters, but seeing the Marth go all the way until you're a game down in losers, and then pull out the other characters, that's something else. I don't know if Marth's just newer to the roster, but, you know, clearly making enough waves. But the Falcon is something that I like to see against Greninja. I feel like it's not a bad pick at all.
Oh my god, the up air to catch him. That's one of the things that you need to remember about Greninja's neutral air is that as good as it is, you can actually beat it out pretty easily as long as you have a hitbox that can hit under it, because it's actually mostly on Greninja's body. Wolf's Nair, for instance, is something that can beat Greninja's Nair head-to-head.
Now we're seeing... Look at all the damage that Ignite has already applied. Using the weaves to get away from that up air.
Oh!
Sour spot downer just killing outright from center stage. Only 40% on Ignite. He is really
Okay, we should be back. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties on my end. Yeah, so things are back. We're back to talk about some Smash Brothers, and we're down to the last stock for Rated Rudy in this game. Now, Neighbor, you were talking about some stuff about Falcon that, I mean, we were talking about it earlier. We were seeing it earlier, rather, that in this game, he kind of has that Marthritis kind of symptom back from Melee, where you get them to the high percent, and you have strong moves, but it's hard to land the ones that actually matter.
Yeah, and that's why we see sometimes these comebacks can happen this way. Now, Ignite's sitting at a pretty high percent. Does Falcon get straight into the forward smash, and we're seeing pretty much an even game here. Good damage, though, and we're seeing Greninja's sitting at a percent. We can see a setup from Falcon. We can see like a downer setup something. We can see a landing there if he can connect it, but Greninja's a really awkward shape of character to combo, so.
And to hit in the first place, too. Because, like, holy, like, if you've already hit him, then he's pretty easy to follow up on. He's actually rather large, but he's crouching so low. That's where Falcon can actually have a lot of problems, because those early game safe moves, they're aerials.
Yeah, I feel like we're not going to see that many new setups, but we should see, you know, some of those other strong moves. Back air is just all reliable for Falcon. Maybe connect it down air into an up smash, maybe not at this percent, but up smash is a nuts move.
Now, man, Rated Rudy, he's on the ropes, 136. He's got to find a way to get his own big combo started, which, you know, he's got to play a little bit more defensively. A little bit new for the Greninja. Falls out of the up smash. That's some Smash 4 classic.
Really living that dash attack.
Ooh, big Nair.
All the way down. Nair doesn't, he doesn't confirm off it, though, unfortunately.
Yeah, but the positioning that he got off of that 289%, missing the forward smash would have ended the game if he had the spacing right instead. He's at 159 and off stage.
That's what we're talking about. He lives the Nair at 160 almost. Falcon, he has these strong moves, but he sometimes can
Sour spot back here!
You know, Sweet Spot would have killed yesterday, but Sour Spot, that's absolutely not going to do it. Nair, though, will eventually clean up the stock, catching a movement on the platform. And we saw a lot of, you know, Ignite ran off with the momentum. He had a big lead and then slowly was edged away from him to a very close game.
I think a lot of that came down to, you know, Ignite did start swinging with a lot of, well, moves with ignition. We saw Falcon kicks. We saw the up Bs, right? And the problem with that is that Greninja, again, fast enough to move away and maneuver around the problems that the Falcon is presenting to you and then striking back with a reliable 20-30% on just 1 or 2 hits. And especially there was not a lot of respect for that Nair near the end of that game, which is what sets up for Greninja's victories.
Right. You really can't risk having him land on you with that aerial. That is an insane setup for Greninja. Can set up for his up smash, set up for his forward air, set up for even, you know, in some situations back air just to set up an edge guard. Terrifying to deal with.
But either way, man, Ignite was able to hold on to it and said, all right, like, my character does have raw kill power eventually. He was able to cover the platform, and, you know, he's taken away the flat stages because he knows that that is where Greninja likes to play, taking away Town and City, taking away Final Destination. So we're going to have to see Rated Rudy come up with a game plan for, you know, somewhere that does not involve him saying, all right, you whiff and then I get big punish.
Yeah. Going to a Pokemon Stadium 2, that's pretty much the Greninja classic is, okay, you've banned the 2 flat stages, I'm picking the next flattest one that is available to me. Pokemon Stadium 2 is going to have to get the job done.
I really like this stage as well for Greninja in this matchup in particular, especially given what we saw on Battlefield. If you're near center stage, Pokemon Stadium 2 has cavernous blast zones. And that's going to be a problem for Falcon to get those kills, especially because, again, a lot of his moves kill off the side, not too much off the top. Whereas Greninja, you know, can keep the game near the ledge and, you know, kind of push it towards the ledge with his combos where Falcon doesn't as much. And right off the bat, already what I'm talking about, right? When Greninja gets a hit, he can take you all the way to the corner of the stage, 40% right off the bat.
Straight to the other side, because you can always find confirms into that dash attack, and that's into flying. Always going to be able to bring it to the, look at that.
Oh my goodness.
Straight from left to right.
And he almost caught him with that full double jump, but is a little bit too low for that to connect with that water shuriken. And, you know, you just got to sit back as Rudy and say, all right. 85%, I'll take it. Now I'll see if I can catch these overcommits. And, man, Falcon kick to break the zone instead of just using the natural movement speed from Falcon.
Yeah, and the Falcon kick was even punishable on hit with forward
man.
Now we're seeing another Falcon kick. A third? Going for a third? Can we see
Can we get a fourth?
Can we see
Can we get a fourth Ignite? No, he's wisened up. He says, okay, that move it's not bad, but, I mean, it's not good enough to be using 4 times in a 20-second span.
Right. I mean, Falcon kick out of the corner, that's the Smash 64 classic. But man, something should stay in Smash 64.
Something should stay in Smash 64, like up air to up air to up air to up air to up B. Like 2 down smashes in a row is when he goes for a down air to challenge. The pressure Rated Rudy was looking for an air dodge and didn't find it, instead got booed.
There we go. Now we're using that movement of Falcon to stand and we're trying to bait something out of Greninja. Trying to play the whip punish game against Greninja is scary because boy is it hard to punish his whips.
That was honestly, speaking of whip punishes, that was perfect by Rudy right there. Made the step 1, the adaptation score of 1 by saying, okay, so he got me by not air dodging there. He went for the down air. So this time I'll fake like I'm going for the air dodge read again, drift back, and then punish the down air. He got exactly that. And so he gets to play his way, being up that stock.
Ooh, now he gets the extension of the platform, and Falcon kicks his way down, and Nair is going to cleanly take it.
I think at this point, Rudy just has to kind of accept that there is no mix-up. If you're hitting Ignite's Falcon, he's going to get aggressive the moment that he is out of hit stun. And you just kind of have to back off, let him commit to something, and then see right there with that downer, that could have gotten you punished like it did last time.
Just wait it out, space yourself properly to avoid, and then
just like that.
Clean. And there's the Nair, doesn't react to the side that he gets sent on. Shoutouts to the Wi-Fi.
Sent off stage here. Tough situation for Falcon, right? To get off the ledge against most characters, but especially against Greninja, who has, like we said, great frame data and therefore great ledge trapping tools as well. Oh my goodness, they both went for it. That was Dragon Ball Z nonsense.
Yeah, the fact that both of them thought, now I want to full hop into aerial on the opponent.
Oh my goodness, speaking of full hopping and aerial, Ignite covers exactly that with a downer of his own, and now Raiden Rudy suddenly playing from a deficit.
Yeah, and that's not exactly what we were expecting based on the pace of the game. And now avoiding one of those 50-50s we were talking about that gets so dangerous. Greninja kind of has a similar struggle where, you know, just kidding.
He's been looking for that so much too, right? He's like, all right, I don't have to get close to him. I can throw out these big water shurikens, see if I can catch him, knock him off the stage, and that time finally gets the stock from it too, and here comes that comeback on damage. Air dodge down, something we didn't see from Ignite so far.
Bringing out that mix-ups where they matter. This is last game, this is last stock to make it through the bracket.
Yeah. So both of these players have got to be thinking in their heads right now, but can they bring it into actuality?
Woo. Air dodge down again, gets him out of the combo situation. We're playing Dragon Ball Fighters. That's down tech into buttons.
And now Rudy, you know, he's got this all the way back to even just about. In fact, he's in the lead just by a tad, and at this percent, he's starting to run out of times where he can confirm into his kills. And Ignite, he kind of knows that he's in that zone, so he's throwing out, you know, down smash is non-committal if you got the back part come towards your opponent.
Oh yeah, that's super easy to punish if that hits that shield.
Look at all the stage that Ignite is giving up right there. He's playing behind that platform in the corner, and Rudy's got all of Pokemon Stadium 2 to run with.
They're trying to land the back air to punish the shuriken, but doesn't quite have the distance.
Oh, again, we see the same situation.
This time the Nair wins out instead of the down air.
Ooh. And the aggression, even though knowing that Ignite, I think that he's picked up on the changing game plan, right? With Ignite so near kill percents, I think that Rudy's seen that he's not going to get aggressive out of those aerials. Now it looks like Rudy wants to get up close.
There you go. Is one big hit takes it. The forward air does end up landing, and Rudy makes the proper adaptation that he needed. Took it over the Marth, struggled against the Falcon of the game too, but he really brought it back down to even things, and then last hit again, game 3, but Rudy was the one who had the resolve to make it all the way through.
I think that what we see right there is just a little bit of discomfort with the Falcon, right? I know that Ignite has played the Falcon before, but still not being so comfortable that you can go at full speed and throw out those aerials. You saw so much hesitation once he was at that 100% from Ignite, whereas with Falcon, you've got to be able to step on the gas pedal and throw out those aerials when you are cornered like that, because your opponent is also at kill percent, and they've got better spacing tools than you do. So that's why we saw that result, and I think that we're going to see a little bit of that in our Red Bull replay from that last game.
Yeah, definitely want to take a trip down memory lane for some of that. Maybe take a stroll in Big Blue.
Yeah,
through memory lane on that one. See, the Falcon was able to bring the tail for a little bit. Well, right now the Marth.
Big Blue came out on top. That Blue Froggy, man.
Oh yeah,
pretty much unstoppable that whole set. Although, you know, that game 2 was a that game 2 was a little bit more of a nail biter, and you know, you can see some of the stuff that happened here, right? Like clean Greninja confirms on those platforms, but it was game 3 that really had everybody going, right? Because you get down to that last stock situation, boy, Raiden Rudy had to clutch one out deep.
A clean combo.
And see, and this is kind of what I'm talking about right here, is that Ignite doesn't want to get too close when he commits. And so that time when he got caught dashing in, only wanting to be at a medium space, if he was trying to commit and get up closer to Greninja at that point, he would have overshot him and he probably wouldn't have gotten hit by the forwarder. But because he was being a little bit timid about it, he ended up putting himself right in the position where he was going to die.
Yeah, and dashing in this game is just so committal because you can't shield mid-dash. You have to wait until the dash is over. You can do a full run. And Falcon's the character who just does the dash dancing back and forth. it's got stuck in his movement. Straight into the forward air. Nothing you can do.
Yeah. So, Rated Rudy moving on to Finals Day. And, Finals Day, it's going to be tomorrow. You guys got to make sure that you catch it, but don't tune out just yet because we got one more match today to find out who's going to fill that last slot. It's going to be JK Sonic versus Magic Trumpet Man.
If there's
Goodness gracious.
If there's anything that more exemplified this qualifier, I feel like with just the world that we live in right now, the Get On My Level online South qualifier, I think Little Mac versus Belmont is probably the best way to end it.
I think that also kind of capitalizes the highlights of today as well, right? Where we saw a lot of Magic Trumpet Man that just made us go, oh God, what is, stop!
Right, he had so much insane control of their character.
That's the thing that I would, expect to see from a Little Mac that goes this far, because, as I said, to get anywhere near your opponent, you have to have maximum control, and especially now against a Belmont, how on earth is Magic Trumpet Man going to get out of restraining order territory?
Right. Because you signed the papers, you gotta stay all the way over there. I would also definitely be interested. I also am curious because JK Sonic, not as Wally of a Belmont as we saw out of Yosifu, more of the saucy combo playing kind of Belmont. I want to see some of that play.
Honestly, that's going to be Magic Trumpet Man's his opening, right? Is that against Yosifu, I would give him about a 5% chance of winning, because that space control was just not being given up by the Simon. But from the Richter here, from JK Sonic, I think that there will be openings, and Magic Trumpet Man just gotta wait for some mistakes to be made. So here on Battlefield is game one, and we have seen, for one, that Magic Trumpet Man is very comfortable maneuvering on this stage, but boy, this is such a good Belmont stage.
It is one of the best, if not the best stages for the Belmonts, because they can cover the platform so well with the whip. They get so much off of the opportunity to cover the platforms with their projectiles as well. And the top platform, they got the up there for it.
And honestly, normally you would say, okay, but that platform coverage doesn't mean anything against Little Mac, and I'm sure that's what JK Sonic has been thinking, but remember how much we actually saw Trumpet Man play on these platforms in that one set.
Take to the skies. You've heard of platform camping Little Mac, but you haven't heard of Little Mac platform camping you?
Oh my God, he just stood there! He just let him land in front of him and then hit him with the uppercut.
He went straight to the top platform, unprovoked, said, I will be here, this is my home now. And if you come over here, that's your fault.
That is going to be a rude awakening. He actually came in there going, he literally gave him that, and he said, wake up, buddy. You can't just come after me on this top platform.
Yeah, definitely. That is actually Magic Trumpet Man's place to be. It's his top platform.
Oh, he's going for the bait too with the up B, and said he gets punished for it. I love the Kosoku.
It's a wild play. While you have the invincibility, put yourself in second fall, make yourself look vulnerable,
and then strike back. However, the problem is that by the time he landed, he was no longer in special fall.
He was actually still very vulnerable.
The truth is that he was.
Yeah.
Great spacing on that recovery. Magic Trumpet Man finally gets his chance to land and gets the KO.
He slides in with that forward tilt again. On block, not that great, but on hit, amazing.
Woo! Maximum distance on that recovery too.
Yeah, just barely able to make it back. He's got another KO punch online. Goes for the counter, gets extra percent.
I bet you can KO now too. He's looking for it, and he'll find it once again. JK Sonic tries to land behind the shielding Little Mac. He gets a KO punch, and I think he's gonna have to listen to some taps after that one.
Yeah, getting the extra pressure with the down tilts. Waits for that air dodge in, and that was your fate sealed. Turns back around, gets that KO punch. 2 KO punches in one game.
2 in a row. I mean, and honestly, I see the logic there, right? And I think that's what Magic Trumpet Man picked up on as well, is you don't want to land and have to shield in front of a Little Mac with KO punch, so let me get behind him, try and get some stage. And that's a situation that Magic Trumpet Man has doubtlessly seen hundreds of times.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, you're getting down tilted by Little Mac when you're at like 14%. He has KO punch. Never a good place to be. There's never a good option. Just pick an option and pray.
Pick an option and pray. My favorite Fire Emblem line.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going back to Battlefield. Magic Trumpet Man reasonably took away Smashville and also Final Destination, but we'll go back to Battlefield for this one, which kind of confuses me given... I don't know if, again, if JK Sonic is just playing the game plan that is in his head, or if he actually has some kind of plan to take care of Magic Trumpet Man, because we've seen the platform maneuverability is the greatest I've ever seen from a Little Mac.
He literally met him on that top platform and then reminded him why it was a bad idea.
Yeah. He got up there first. Like, that was just a flex. I'm sorry to say it.
Oh! Already go for the down tilt, goes into the Jolt Haymaker. Gets a nice confirmed good damage. Oh, but this could be bad.
I really like the get-up attack to actually get through the cross there. Oh, it bounces up on the platform. That actually, I don't know if that was on purpose to bounce it off the shield like that, but that covered what Magic Trumpet Man has been doing this whole game perfectly. And now JK Sonic says, yep, once I get you on the ledge, you're not getting out.
I like how he went for the up air on the Angel platform like it. Hey!
Just to show him that I'm not going to let up on the pressure.
Right, continuing to apply it. Oh, wow! Still able to connect that forward smash. Looked like pretty good distance away with the forward air as well. But he keeps catching. You don't expect the Axe to put in this much work against the Little Mac. He keeps catching Magic Trumpet Man jumping.
And I think that's the big thing, is that we didn't see so much of that Axe in game 1, but now JK Sonic has recognized, this Little Mac does kind of personally prefer the air to a degree, but 2 in a row, the Holy Water into the forward smash. JK Sonic has made some big changes.
Yeah, we're gonna see. Just jumping out the other way. The cross is gonna deal with the punish on that Miss Jolt Haymaker. Not quite gonna do the KO. Can he make it?
Stop doing that. Stop doing it.
For the down air from Little Mac, and boy, did that not function.
Every single time that Magic Trumpet Man has gone off stage and gone for a funny aerial to do the funny gimp, he has gotten himself ledge guarded and then consequently killed because he's Little Mac getting ledge trapped by a Belmont. Now, I mean, this is looking like a solid 3-stock.
Oh, all right, we got the forward tilt. We got life. There's KO punch on deck. This is 1 or 2 hits. Forward smash if he gets the tech chase.
Oh my gosh! The quickest 0 to death you've ever seen.
There we go. And he's at 100%, but Little Mac, even without KO punch, is not a character to be slept on. Look at that damage! Already at 53. Getting complacent and saying, this should be a 3-stock, I got you.
JK Sonic has not been picking up on these ledge traps now where they've been given, and I think in like 30 seconds he's gonna learn what Crow tastes like.
He has
the Holy Water! And he's dead. The 3-stock comeback from Magic Trumpet Man to take the set 2-0. He was in control the whole game. And he was playing us for a fool.
He said it's over. He said it's going to be a clean 3-stock. And Magic Trumpet Man, he showed you exactly why you can never think that way. Whether you're doing, or as the competitor, right? If you're JK Sonic thinking that, like, okay, I can let off the gas a little bit.
Like, okay, game 3.
Yeah, not yet.
No, not yet.
Not till you see the words game is it actually over. Until it says game, the gamers are gaming. And Magic Trumpet Man continued the game.
He may like to participate in the playing of instruments, but boy, is he also gaming.
No.
I mean, look, man, I think that's the best way we could possibly ask to end out this day. Before we do, we're going to have our friends at Red Bull take us back in time to take a look at some of the best moments from that match. And what a way to start the match, right? With that KO punch.
Exactly what I was seeing. We're going to have to see a second one here. Going to go for the down tilt pressure, catch the air dodge. KO.
I mean, it's literally like we were watching that game with just dramatic irony, right? Like, we knew what was going to happen, but JK Sonic had no idea.
Was not ready for it.
Had absolutely no clue. And yeah, he took control of that game too so early on, but like you said, he kind of let off the gas. He let Magic Trumpet Man play the way that he wanted to get back on stage. Whereas, like, see right there, he puts himself at the ledge, and then that sets up for the ledge trap.
Right here. So
this is the best 0 to death I've seen in Smash since we had in-person tournaments. That was just, I know it was kind of flowchart, but it was also sick.
Yeah, gets clean down tilt, down angled forward smash, hella damage, sets up the tech chase. No tech. All right, here comes the down tilt. Are you ready for it?
Now watch, here comes the pizza.
Came through, and Dog Lewis would have been proud. So proud.
Yeah. Big hits coming in from Magic Trumpet Man. And with that, I'm not going to call it miraculous because he played very well. And he played to his win condition. But, I mean, what a comeback to put yourself into top 8. I mean, that's an anime moment right there.
Definitely.
You literally have that, and it's like, that's how the episode ends. Crowd erupts, goes wild. Yes.
I mean, like, this is one of the worst matchups you could probably have imagined, going at Belmonts versus Little Mac. And like you said, if it was Yosifu playing the more defensive, walling style of Belmont,
I don't think Magic Trumpet Man stands a chance in that case.
Don't know if you make it happen, but we saw J.K. Sonic go a little bit saucier, a little bit more aggressive, and kind of was his downfall.
Yeah, gave him some problems, man. So, yeah, Magic Trumpet Man moves on. The loser side of the top 8 on finals day for the South qualifier of GOML, as we call it. Magic Trumpet Man and R, Little Mac and Shulk, Rated Rudy and Chino. I can't see, is that going to be Greninja versus Cloud?
Yep.
Okay, and then on the winner side, you're going to have Crump versus Seba, and we're going to have Yosifu versus Shattuck. Mm-hmm. That is going to be a match that I think could end up also being grand finals.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's going to be exactly like that, because I think the top 8 people who are invited, like Grayson, Ismon, are mixed.
Oh, right.
That makes 16 bracket.
You're right. Yeah, but either way, those are the 8 players that are qualifying, and I think that you absolutely, of course, need to be keeping an eye on. Yosifu was dominant the whole day. Mm-hmm. I think that Shattuck is somebody that everybody already had their eyes on already. But honestly, I was very impressed with Rated Rudy as well. I think that Greninja is difficult to play on Wi-Fi, and he played very well.
I am most interested tomorrow to see something out of Seba, because they're the only player that we didn't get to watch yet.
Out of the winners bracket,
yeah.
I can agree with you. I can agree with you on that, and especially, the Falcon is always electric to see. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, those will be the players that qualified into the top 8 qualifier for the South. And, you guys got to make sure that you tune in right back here tomorrow to tune in, catch finals day and get the best action that you can ask for Southern Online Ultimate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just want to see more.
Yeah.
I just want to see more.
I can't agree. I can't agree more. I can agree.
Yeah.
But either way, y'all, that's going to do it for today. For the GOML South qualifiers. We hope to see you tomorrow for a bunch of other awesome, actionable times. And, for some of the other, GOML Online qualifiers and all that kind of stuff tomorrow as well. I think that the Mexican qualifiers were also today as well.
They were recent. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so make sure you guys come back. There's a lot more Smash to be had. Everybody knows the best matches are on Sunday, so you'll see us tomorrow, but it'll have to be tomorrow. And in the meantime, I've been Kimona.
I've been Neighbor.
Meet your boys next door, and make sure that you guys stay tuned in right here.